Yeah. Quick. Yeah, so start by saying all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, the full well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Doing the work, pushing his word to the four corners, man. You know, we're out once again, you know, to prophesy the downfall of this society, to basically go into the prophecies and, you know, show the signs of the times, man. We're basically in the midst of where now prophecy has been, like, throughout the course of, like, this year, you can go to, but really the last few years, it's hit the point where, you know, even as the average Joe walking around, it's become clear. This place, prophecy is ready to pop off, man. This place is ready to go. And
Habakkuk 2:1 said, I will stand upon my watch, and I'll set me upon the tower to see what he will say unto me, or what I shall answer when I'm reproved. So it's like I really read that for one place. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it, for the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Yeah, the vision for an appointed. And that's the thing, you go back to like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, then it would have, you would have looked, it would be like that some things hadn't really come to a fullness yet. It was the mark's a good one. It was implemented in certain degrees, but then the fullness of it, as far as like a company like Neuralink, it being enacted on that scale, that hadn't really come to a fullness yet. But now we're in a time where it's like all these different prophecies, it's become plain. As far as the Middle East, there's countless little skirmishes that happen. But then it was from like, what was it, the October 7th as they refer to it. From then on, that's really been the engagement that's captured everyone's minds globally. Any country you go to, it's like the back and forth Israel-Palestine, Israel-Palestine. And then it's affecting the politics of places over there. Now everyone's got the focus on it. Same thing for Russia and Ukraine. It's this one where Ukraine's basically got the entirety of the West funding it to resist against Russia. Because why? Now is the time for those things to speak. And then what those things speaking means, that's what you need to go to the prophets for that. Because people in the world, they can see like, oh, the world, you know, why is everything a mess? You know, why is it that all of a sudden the cost of living's gone so high? Why is it that I'm trying to save up, go to my parents' generation, by my age they had a house, a car, 3 kids, but I can barely afford to make rent and then go out to have dinner like once a month. Like the reality of these things hitting them, understanding that you need the scriptures.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. So to the point that we were speaking about how basically everything is getting, worse. Like for a very long time, all these people have kind of had that spirit of mirth, of things being comfortable, things being easy. But now the cost of things have just kind of decreased, bills, and people are losing their minds, man. And people being in a bugged out mental state.
The past.
Yeah.
Good time. AI is taking over the corporate jobs.
Yeah.
AI has killed the corporate jobs. Yeah. So what are you going to do now? You're going to be out there, bills that you can't pay,
Real.
car note that you can't pay.
Yeah.
You bought £1,000 phone that you can't pay for.
Yeah.
Misery is going to be upon people because the grind is going to cease.
Yeah. And like interesting because nowadays you actually see more people coming on wherever it's fucking Instagram, TikTok or whatever it is, saying basically I'm through. I actually have nothing left, which is really spiritual on TikTok because basically people post their spirit like life straight away. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing this, I can't work, I can't this, I can't that.
Well,
people lose their minds, man.
So lucky, it's beautiful you said that because TikTok for the longest time has been a platform for mirth.
Yeah.
So it's going to show you right now we're in that season where we're getting into that suffering, time of Jacob's trouble.
Well, do you remember when Trump was coming in power, apparently he's going to ban TikTok? People was
Lamentation.
people was balling out. People was, I think people was, so there's even people that was gonna take their lives or did take their lives because they're the only way to get that extra £2.50 tip was on their lives on TikTok. People was losing their
Send the
shit.
galaxies.
Yeah.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter from the top. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them.
Yeah, it's even the whilst the evil days come not. And that's the thing is the lie, the big lie they had with this place is that the mirth will continue forever.
Yeah.
And
Fun
that
never stops.
Yeah. And that's something that you go back to like Rome, you go back to Britain, like people that really thought like the mirth would never stop. It's like, especially when you go to like the 80s, the 90s, there was a run where they were like, okay, we got this method, the infinite money glitch, where everyone gets a house, everyone gets a job, everyone gets a certain lifestyle. It ran from
modern monetary theory, they call it.
Yeah,
the idea that you could just carry on printing money. Modern money, they got a word for it. Monetary theory, something like that. And you can just carry on getting loans.
Yeah, just borrow,
Carrying on borrowing. I think the average, what's the average debt for a month now? What, 50 bags or something like that?
Like 40K or something, maybe in that kind of range. But then it's like when you're reading in Habakkuk, what the thick clay. Thick clay. The heavy debts. That's a big part of what has really weighed down the society. Because I remember when I was younger, like in secondary school, like talking to a friend, and he said like, oh yeah, he spoke to his dad. He was like, why is it, all these people that have like the latest phones, the latest this, latest cars. He said, it's all credit. It's like, and as far as like he said, his dad doesn't really like to get into credit like that. And he was a smart guy. This was pre-2008. Then all those people where they were living that nice credit life, that all just completely collapsed.
It kind of shows you a bit. Remember that movie, that Big Short?
Big Short,
Very good movie, man.
Yeah.
Because you remember then, which I think in some regards they brought back that mortgage style now, isn't it? It's 0%. Like basically, you can own nothing. You can have no fucking assets and get a mortgage. That's hell.
There was no job, no assets, loans. That's what they had in 2008. But they rebranded it now.
Yeah, it's back.
They rebranded it.
And these jakes are like, oh yeah, because people pay rent like sometimes more than mortgages now. There's rent like over a grand, or 2,000, but you're just renting. So why not get a mortgage where you're paying? But guess what? When these interest rates and things go up, man, you're cooked.
But think about it this way as well. Even the landlord's gonna be cooked.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna be through.
No one's gonna be able to pay.
you can't have nothing.
I mean, you might be better off as a renter because obviously you've got the renters laws that protect you. You've got the squatter against them.
Stay away.
But like the scripture says within the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, it says everybody's gonna be on the same level. Rich and poor. Even taxes, when you say the taxes, they're speaking about a landlord tax now, where if you own a couple of properties now, they want to start taxing you.
That's a big conversation on LBC right now.
Yeah.
In the economy, landlords are just getting rid of their properties. Like 5-6 properties, their assets, like a couple million assets. They're saying that it's a losing game. It's a cash loss.
Because I think one of the things, I don't know if it was Rob was telling me, the money you used to make on property, the way you taxed it has changed. So now you're not just getting taxed on the profit, if I'm not mistaken, you're getting taxed on the total payment. So that's chipping away your so-called profits. They want to tax, they want to increase the tax even more. But like what the Bible was saying, yeah, you could own or you could rent, but when the system crashes, everybody's going to be on the same level, rich and poor. And there's only going to be one solution out of that situation that they're going to present to the people, which is going to be the chip.
That chip is
It's going to be that chip.
It says, so back in Ecclesiastes 12, I'll finish off verse 1 and then continue. It says, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grandest cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened.
So all these people that, have the, that speak about like the stocks and what's happening in the future. Basically everyone's saying everything's gonna get worse and everything's wrong. And it's like you just need a system reset, which is gonna come with that chip, man. It's very clear to see, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone's in debt, bro. Everyone's cooked.
We're all in debt, man.
Bro,
We're all in debt.
like now,
We're all in debt.
bro. To be honest, if you don't have debt in this kingdom, bro, you can't actually function.
This is the thing. That's what they said. That's what they want.
Yeah.
That's why they branded credit.
Yeah.
Like you think about it, even that's demonic in nature because it's not credit, it's debit.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the credit, you can't do nothing. You can't get far along. You can't function. You
Bro.
can't get a
Bro, it's interesting. If you got like a mortgage and you pay off the mortgage, your credit score goes down.
It goes down because they look at
But they want you to have
Yep.
active debt.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So a person can have the money to pay off the mortgage. His credit score goes down.
Not to speak about my own personal situation, the longest time I thought it was advantageous not to have that. My credit was like, nah, get out of here, man.
That's what it's like. The less you're using it, like they'll just they'll treat you like your man living in the woods.
Basically.
Yeah, and the more you use it, they give you them small increments. Like, oh, you're
$7,000 in that shit.
Take 10.
Shit, man, happened to me last week, man. Now my credit card is $9,000. I was like, shit.
Yeah, man.
I got a quick piece of, this is, go on.
No, it's a long one. So
This brother was saying, this is going to come quick, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, the first chapter. No, go on, bro. You're
Isaiah 24:4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
I'll tell you about sure. Like you get the uni grad population, those grads that go to them Russell Group unis, they're very proud. They come out of uni, I've got my degree, I'm a graduate, I'm gonna get my graduate job. Now there's 600 of them with no job, working in McDonald's and JD Sports Mall. Like
it goes to show you the branding season.
And bro, the debt they get now. I mean, I
was like, what, 13 grand a year?
13 grand a year. Bro, some youth that I know that had to do a foundation course. So she did a foundation course. Went uni. Bro, she checked her online, whatever. Obviously, the student loan as well. They grouped all in one. Her debt is 70 back. I said, bro, that's when we get house.
I know a guy. I'm going to watch the guy. He's a massive. In the place where to buy a house for 100.
So the thing with those jobs as well, is you're gonna get to the point of making good money, so then it's gonna start chunking from your pay. Like the way the tax has gone up anyway, the national insurance, the tax, then student loans will be like, yep,
Don't take that. But that's assuming you got a job.
it's a lot.
they make it shit. And even with the student loan now, they take it up to 65. It used to be 25 then 30 years. Now it's 65, so you take that to the grave.
They take your student loan to 65
65,
years.
yeah, that's when it stops. When you hit 65.
I think they said it was like, I think it was when Boris was around, they were saying like, it's expiring too early. They're not making enough, it's a waste. But then that's why it's like, the way it is now, I'm like, bro, it's like the amount of people are paying back. Because I remember it was like my mum's generation, they got it for free. They all got, like the joke is the prior generation, them man got it for free. The houses they were getting, like people coming up through the 80s, 90s, they had it nice. But it's just like, it's really the millennial generation after, which is like, what it would be like 2000 and maybe 5 or 6, they would have been coming into adulthood from then. It's like they would have just gone into the financial crash, and it's just been through. It's like Gen Z after, them man that ain't even trying. They're just trying to get big on TikTok. Gen Alpha iPad kids, man. Them man are already, them man is all dead ready for the trip.
Well, it's funny you saying that. In other countries, China, I believe it's China, where it's so cheap that you pay up your education as you're doing it. As you're doing it. That's how cheap it is. I've got a quick precept. Somebody ain't got a precept. Jeremiah 51:9 says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go everyone into his own country." Because pretty much the system is broken. I know we're speaking about England for the time being, but really, it's
The whole West, man.
the whole Western mindset of doing things, that base way of doing things, it's been set up to where it's going to crash, because obviously they know they got a system that they're trying to put into the earth, which is obviously the CHI, the chip way of lifestyle. So that's why this place is going to be destroyed, right? It would have been healed, but you can't heal this place, man. This place has been designed to be destroyed from the foundations.
I think as well, with Trump as well, he's been brought into office to accelerate that, like with the tariff thing.
That's right.
So this whole economy is interconnected, and he's got people believing that tariffs is for the benefit of the United States citizens. Like, oh yeah, man, Donald Trump's gonna make America great again. You know, all the tariffs, bro. They're paying extra money. You got people so brainwashed. They're saying if I have to suffer, so my children can live better on Trump. So I'm gonna do it.
It's their fruit. That's the thing. It's like with Trump as well. He's done it very quick. It's what accelerationism.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole theory. Is I watch your videos on that, where they're just trying to have things progress to the next stage as quick as possible. And that's the thing, is like with the social political situation, that's been accelerated. With the financial situation, it's been accelerated. Military, it's been accelerated.
Yeah.
All these things they've been pushing.
I mean, bro, Trump's not been in that long. Now, this whole AI and Palantir and all that kind of thing, it's obviously been in the background for years. But it feels like since Trump has got in, it's accelerated at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically every day it's in the news. Like, AI, you know, basically controlling everything.
Yeah.
But if you look at but like if you look at these things, it's been around for years. But it just shows like since Trump was, you know, they talk about him coming into power or whatever, it's just gone at sped up, man.
Can I get this quick?
So that,
This is the book of 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, "When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them." But the brother said, Trump came in there and he was like, precept a woman in travail. When the babe pains come in, there's no stopping it. As to travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. So once this gig is rolling, this motion is moving, you ain't gonna be able to stop it. Right? They're moving, like they said, it was gonna move with warp speed. And indeed the warp speed's gonna come. Operation warp speed towards what? Towards the chip. Right? They really feel that they're gonna be able to come back out of it as the proverbial phoenix, but that's not the spirit the Most High put upon them. The spirit was to destroy yourself. But the scripture says in Job, he's gonna get trapped up in the own trap that he set up for himself.
I read on Isaiah 24:5. It says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they've transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant." And then transgressing the laws, I just think about usury and like the year of Jubilee. These are things that are put in place so that, you know, those things can't burden someone to the point where, you know, the guy's corpse is in the ground for 20 years and then you're still like knocking down his children's door for the rest of the money. These are like, and that's the complete reverse of what they do in this place. Out here is the pure objective is to get you as indebted as possible, so they can utilize that as a form of control over you for as long as they desire.
well, even this as well, land. You know what I mean? Like, all people on the planet are entitled to a patch of land. That means basically everyone can have their own family business, and then you know pass on skills and trade. And even like in the scriptures, it's like, you know, sometimes the Israelite who was poor would actually go and work for the Israelite that's rich, learn that skill from that man, and then come out, you know, with his own riches. But now, basically, to just learn, you're in 60K debt. And then when you finish learning, you don't have a job.
Yeah, there's no job market waiting for you.
There's no job market
And
at
you're
all.
worse off than when you started.
Yeah.
Got a quick
And
precept.
even Sabaki as well, they made it difficult. Like, you know, like every local Israelite could have been an employer back then.
Yeah.
And now they charge you 50% extra, 50% national insurance to employ people as well. So now if you're entry level, they might as well get the AI to do your job because there's no point paying you and pay the government on top. It's fucked.
Hell.
It's a good problem between 9 and 2. When the righteous are in the authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn.
Yeah, man, this guy is, because he's wicked, he set up a whole total different situation than what the scriptures said you're going to set up. And people right now, now you're starting to see the mourning.
Yeah.
You had the mirth, you was able to cocaine your way through life, sniffing drugs, right? Self-medicating with wine, right, with Merlot. But now the pain's coming because the Merlot now ain't £5 anymore, it's £11. Right? They're heating it on like how you used to be able to leave it on all winter now. You gotta strategically pick between that.
We're at the house these times, and I want it on 5 minutes before we get in.
Yep.
And it's, you know, man, they've got the AI for that as well.
Yeah.
Like Nest and them things where it's like, okay, you get this, then it's like it's all linked up. You got it on your phone. That's what it is, and these things are presented as something to, you know, something to what you call it. To revel in, to have mirth about, but the reality is with those systems, those things are all accessible online. And then when you got, like, I remember before, like when the internet was new, you used to be able to go on Google and put in certain codes and then see what's it called, like cameras on motorways.
Yeah.
Like they were all connected. That was from like 2003, 4. Someone showed me forever ago. And then it's like after a certain point, it was like I just forgot it. But it's like you can't do them things anymore. But then it's like all these systems, they're available online if you have the access. So that's the thing, is like when you, and that's part of what this AI is doing as well. It goes through the internet, it goes through all these things, tallies all this different information, puts it together. So that's then like, oh, how you have managing your house heat, what time do you turn it on, how much you use it. These things all go in. These so wants all this tied into the system, so he can use it as a control. And that's the thing, it's like with the financial situation, he still has the means, when he could make it so it's good for everyone. He could make life manageable. He could make it so you can consistently work, but then over time, the wealth rises to the top. Those are the elite, they want to maintain themselves.
Just basic, he rented out Venice for his wedding with the Aldi Edelman.
Oh, yeah.
He rented out a whole city, bro. Because
I think they said about him, if he lost 99% of his wealth, he'd still be a millionaire.
Bro, it's crazy.
Hey, bro, I ain't trying to drink tonight, man. You gonna mess my brain up, man.
fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Jake lose 99% and see the same circumstance.
Yeah.
With the same situation.
That's like, yo, I just lost a bunch of debt.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
good.
yeah, you know what I mean?
I hope I lose 99% of my assets.
Isn't it? But you know, it's interesting. We're talking about how these billionaires make everything easier. Like even like most people that have debts, right? Let's say you're like older bailiffs. Bro, sometimes like the brother was explaining that if you can pay 10% of it to a certain body, they can wipe that whole debt off.
Yeah.
So personally, for the whole, you know what I mean, 100%, that's 100 grand, and you only pay a little bit, it's done. So all these billionaires and trillionaires can just get like a group of people, put down there like a billion, but paid off like 500,000. Yeah. Of course he ain't gonna do it.
I've got a good precept. It's the book of Proverbs, 22nd chapter and the 7th verse. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. And that's really why this whole system is set up on debt. Because you're now living a life as a slave in a slave's mentality because you're trying to pay the bills off. That's how we set it up. We can set it up to where everybody's got a little piece on the earth. They really got a thing out here where you think, even in Little Britain, you really think that the earth is that small. When the vast majority of the earth is open spaces. But you're in a rat race trying to pay the bills off. You're in a rat race trying to have a little crumb off of the rich man's table. What? That's because of wickedness and foolishness. That's because you're in a mindset where you're a subject, you're a servant to your debt. Who owns the debt? Esau's the one that the elites of Esau, they're the ones that own the debt. And it's only going to get worse as we move towards the CHIP system, where the situation's going to be so dire that the only way you're going to be able to write off the debt is what? The chip. The only way you're going to be able to eat is going to be what? The chip.
Proverbs 28:15. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. That's Esau. Think about it. As a roaring lion. Like, bro, like, dude, I don't have shit. I come and take the TV, fucking mattress, you take the mattress, you take it all, bro.
It's the bear bit now.
You take your buck.
It's the bear bit. I don't know if you brothers have seen a bear salmon.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool.
It strips the skin off, bro.
They don't even eat the salmon.
Yeah,
It eats the brain.
Yeah, just eats the brain and
Just
just
eats the
casts
brain.
it
Just
back
comes
into
and takes the brain and goes off.
Yeah.
The whole salmon's there, dead.
Yeah. Then
Just
after
takes the good bit.
Yeah.
That's Esau.
Yeah.
That's Esau comes and takes the best bit of you. Like, look at all the countries that are eating something. That scripture's deep when you understand the implications. Look at all the countries that are poor because Esau came up in there. They took the natural mineral resources, left a pile of rubble behind it.
Yeah.
Not even like we're going to come. Sorry?
Left poison as well.
Left poison there because they're going to extract the material out. So they're going to extract the material out. They're going to poison the whole river. They're going to poison the soil. The soil can't grow anything anymore. Think about oil extraction. I always think about Nigeria. But you think about Nigeria is supposed to be one of the richest nations, one of the richest places upon the face of the earth. Esau came up in there, paid off a few little leaders, so you're thinking, oh no, it's the corrupt Nigerian government or system. Nah, Esau.
Yeah, they're doing their job, man.
They're doing what they've been paid to do. Yeah, they live like millionaires, but the guy that's behind the millionaire is the British Empire that's behind OPEC up there within, not OPEC, Shell. Shell in Nigeria. It's like the brother said, it's the bear. The bear's the trigger. It's going skin off all the little bits of skin, you know, eat the brain, eat the good bit. It's going.
With the national elites as well, they buy out governments as well. Because you know, like back in the day when we were younger, you used to have them different assets. The government used to own all assets, but they all become privatized. Like Central that used to be a nationalized company. Now they've got private shareholders offshore. Even fucking Royal Mill is owned by a fucking Czech Republic type fucking trillionaire. Because like the government sold all of the assets off. All of the shareholders are getting paid, and then they switch it back to the taxpayer, the normal citizen, to save the company out of debt. What the shit that's fucked up.
That's what it's cool. And the thing is these things are plain to see, but it's like the average Joe, they don't want to like see the truth of, bro, your elites don't care about it. Because as soon as they realize that, they realize, oh, I'm like a crumb. I'm dust in the wind. Because right now they think, oh, I can vote, oh, I can do this, oh, political action. When you realize that don't mean anything, then you realize the terror. But then the real terror is the Lord. Because as far as the reason he's been given leeway to be this cruel Lord is because why? It's because the Most High is set up. That's what this time is for. That's why it's vanity for you to see mirth. As far as thinking like, oh, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna establish my life, I'm gonna build up this, build up that, this company, that. But then, you know, what's the lot? You're doing all that, then this will drop.
I want to put piece up there. Big tangent. Book of Daniel 8:25. It says, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper within his hand. And the reason I use that scripture is because you see the lies, you see the deception, you see the policies that get put in place, and you're caught up in the matrix, you're caught up in the theatrics of what's really happening. But this guy is moving with subtlety behind you, making a move on your life, making a move on your your so-called resources, of which we don't own anything. We don't really have anything in this society. We don't really have anything.
The slave labor is about what you can offer.
Yeah, that's all you can offer, mate. That's all you can offer. But for that policies, okay, he's gonna be able to have it to a prosper. The craft is gonna prosper. The exam, which the ultimate end all be all. The craft is the chip.
Yeah, but the scripture also says it's framed with mission by law.
That's it. That's it. Even better scripture.
So that's what's about to happen.
That's it.
Bro,
It's going to be established within the bounds of their system. How they'll destroy it.
they're destroying you. Because the beast system's here. Like, it's just individual systems
Different separate bits.
that just has to be linked by a person being chill, bro. So everything like chat GPT is already here. Palantir is already here.
Yeah.
You know, even the British government wants to spoke about the government having a database where they can observe people what they post on social media and their life in general to see people who are most likely to murder.
Yeah.
So that's basically a
Pre-crime
list.
that they would sign. They get a council on the pre-crime.
Yeah.
They've been speaking about this amongst the government. So, yeah, man. And you know who's going to be top on that list?
Yeah.
The brothers.
Yeah, of course.
The brothers are going to be on that list because they're going to, you know, remember they say they talk about the hate in the speech, right?
Yeah.
That's how they're going to make a move on brothers with the pre-crime, all kind of different
And
things.
they already defined the action for Palestine. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. That
This
is
is like
when they go out.
probably
and
like a
then-
month ago.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a month. It was like, and it was like the next week. Them man went out. The cops were just grabbing them up, throwing them in jail.
Yeah.
They said it was like 100 something plus 70, maybe 70,
Yeah.
100 arrests
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And they just got the fine because the fine was like, I think they went on an airport or something. But then it was like, that's just set the precedent.
Terrorists.
Now you can be like, okay, they're defined as terrorists. Then it's, you lost all rights.
And interesting, maybe about 2-3 weeks before that, remember there was that hybrid Jake, the dreads on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was saying them chants. What's that festival?
Oh, no, it wasn't Glastonbury. Was it Glastonbury? No,
I
no.
think it was a Reading Festival.
Yeah, I think it was Reading. It was
Reading.
before.
It was one of them,
One of them.
like some hybrid Jake musician we've never seen.
Yeah.
He just came out and he was the face of.
And then he became, and it's like,
Yeah.
everyone was going, I was like, bro, where's this guy? I was like, who's this guy? Why is everyone vibing? But then they just put that at the forefront. And that's the thing, it's like, even on top of what you're saying with AI, is, I remember they were saying, like in the US, oh, it was Glastonbury, okay.
Glastonbury, okay.
So they said, like, with AI facial recognition,
Yeah.
they started doing it in the States.
Oh,
They said it
train
been,
station.
yeah, and they said it attributing these
Yes.
the wrong people.
Yeah.
But then they were already in jail
Yeah.
and like doing sentences before they went and actually found, oh, no, this isn't a person. So these things, that's
they
like you
exist.
said, that's already there.
And remember those either my pedophile that basically he was caught on the facial recognition, and it's on his list to obviously not be near kids. So it picked up his face on a camera database, and they sent cops to stop him with that child straight away. They just stopped him on the road. Now a person might feel that's good because obviously they are stopped the crime happening, right? Him being around children. But if they can make a list for pedophiles, they can make a list for anybody. You know what I mean?
That's what it always starts with, the most justified,
That's it.
most lawful, where it's like the stopping terrorism, the stopping pedophiles. That's like the Child Protection Act or whatever it is. The one where you have to, like, for you to even go and see certain things online, you got to put in your ID, you got to prove you're an adult. They say it's to protect kids. But then it's like the reality of that is, okay, now you've got databases of people accessing certain sites. And then a lot of people are just, they're not tech savvy. They'll just do it. But then it's the reality is they can then expand it to like, okay, we need to protect certain people committing certain kinds of crime, or people that have certain viewpoints or whatever. Or if you posted a certain aggressive thing online, if you're online trolling or whatever, then okay, we're gonna limit your access. Yeah, you know. And it's like, oh, to keep those people that are doing these things, you need to prove you're not them.
Or even sports. You know, every time these Jakes miss a penalty,
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Someone showed me like the fucking online God damn. I was like, bro. I was like,
deep.
it was just a fake injury. It's football, bro. Like, God damn.
But then it's like,
Bro was insane.
yeah.
I was like, bro, it was insane.
But again, even that's a big conversation. When these Jake players play, they get views. So now, you never know, you have to show your fucking ID. And then basically everyone could be tracked and verified.
That's right. Can't download the VPN.
Yeah. But then it's like they're looking to make those illegal. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it's like, bro. It's mad.
Download the shit now.
That's just like, I've been using it just because it's like public Wi-Fi is a mess. So it's like better to just be
offline.
Yeah, be offline. But then it's like, that's why it's like they're saying it's security. But in the reality of with those databases, it's like let anyone hack one of those or get in, then it's like the whole country is basically compromised. And you already have like, what is it, ransomware going on in all kinds of government organizations anyway. So these things become an aspect. That's where you get, okay, now we just need it. Rather than a database, we have it stored in your chip. We need something that, can't be hacked.
Supersedes that.
Yeah.
More secure.
I got this. Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." Yeah. Now with that, they devise evil. Yeah, devise evil. These are the things that they lust for. That's why you have these systems where it's like the levels of intricacy for them to achieve what they want is spectacular. Like I said, that as far as Esau is wiser than Daniel. He's being given a level of understanding that goes beyond. You really can put these systems together. And he's got a man that can go and dig things up and find out the truth of things. And really, and because he has control over that truth, then he can teach the lie and then establish those lies. And really, that's the biggest thing that's had influence over the modern time. Everyone really thinks this system, there's some kind of justice or righteousness or order to this system, which is why they're so invested in it. But they don't realize they've been, like, your function turned into a product. You've been turned into a slave. Just, the chains on physical.
Most people are ignorant to the fact that Amalek owns absolutely everything, including your left and right politicians. They're just the same, different rules and the same beats. And they own the media that's telling you both sides of the publications as well, whether it's right wing or left wing. So you'll get some man reading "fuck the immigrants" and then all the immigrants ain't too bad, and then you think that they're caught in this world of clashing against each other when Amalek's the one controlling strings on both sides. So it's all fucked.
Hey, just a quick update, like in the news, obviously there was Chelsea was playing in it, full of early, and there was it says boy arrested near Stamford Bridge after fake gun sparked fears of a mass shooting. So it's basically like a 16-year-old white girl got a fake gun and it was afraid it was going to be mass shoot with them. But it's funny you're talking about these migrants, like these white jakes and fucking Edomites. Fucking migrants!
Bro.
But look, it's a little white boy. Look, him. Yeah. From the hands. They're starting to bridge. They're caught him apparently with a fake gun or whatever. But it shows you how them crowded places. Things can spin on the head.
I think I spoke about this a few days ago. I think the narrative is so powerful that people don't realize Britain has got a lot of blood on its hands. Britain has got a ridiculous amount of blood on its hands. I did the tiniest bit of research. India, in between 1880 and 1920, they dropped 100 million bodies. It was responsible for 100 million bodies. That's just India, 40 years. And then obviously you reap the benefits of that. Now, Bengali Patel wants to come over, not even try to steal anything,
Just grind.
Just grind and survive.
That's the funny thing with the migrants over here. I'm like, bro, it's like the way these Eastern Europeans, these Indians, they come, they graft, bro.
They graft.
They set up a little business, they're making money. Now the thing you should be upset about is as a local, as a Brit, is that your government's just Britain, like letting them come over and do that.
Well, your elites are fleecing. That's what the problem is. Your
They
elites
don't
are
care for
fleecing.
you. They're basically like, oh, we can, okay, if we let these come in, we can make merchandise off them to a greater extent than the local Brit. They expect less and they give more.
They'll actively go out with certain policies, certain companies, certain industries. They'll actively go out abroad to get label that's going to be what? That's going to be more reliable, work harder, right? Health industry. We're going abroad.
That's what we do in India, bro. Them man come here, they don't have to pay national insurance, so it's cheaper for the companies to hire them. And but it's because the company knows. Yeah, because when India did a deal with India, one of the things is if you as an Indian move over to the UK, for the first couple of years you don't have to pay national insurance. So your company is cheap for your company to hire them. So
I know they had a few visa types for healthcare workers because nobody in Britain wants to buy
Yeah, like
healthcare.
carers as well. I think even when Brexit happened, they said like carers are exempt, certain things are exempt.
Yeah.
Because if the carers are gone, it's like
That's done.
like old people are dying like no one's there, bro. There ain't no locals going there. And the pay they have for those roles, if they had to pay more, like the NHS is cooked, going bankrupt till the next day.
Yeah.
But that's a bit. It's with these. But then that's the evil. That's really what they've crafted. It's very meticulously put together, and then that's the thing that the average Joe don't realize. This isn't the end goal. This is part. This is part of the process.
Part of the ploy.
Because that's why it's like, as far as you go back to even, it was like, what was it, 1997, New Labour with Tony Blair coming in. From Blair coming in, you would have thought like, oh, okay, Britain saved X, Y, Z. He's going to say it's great. You know, he gave me EMA, man. That's all I can say. Like, he niced me monetarily. That's about, he dropped me some change. But then it's you know, off the back of that, it was you know, a bunch of BS was happening other way. But the thing is that was a process, and now we're just further down to where now we can see the fullness of what they want to achieve. Now it's really it's been crafted to the point where you know, the average people in the news like, what is this Palantir stuff? It's scary. Well, what's going on? Like, why is it that these wars don't seem like it's going to end? It's scary. How's the financial situation going to get better? How's there meant to be a future for my children? How are we going to get a house? Like, how am I meant to make a living? It's scary. That's why you have people skedaddling from the UK, whatever, to overseas. But then the reality is all these different the entire economic system is underpinned by the US.
That's right. That's right. That's why when Babylon goes, everybody goes. When Babylon goes, everybody goes. But I wanted to say, off of the back of what you're saying, the elites have fleeced these people, but they gave you the Hegelian dialectics. So you're worried about the migrants.
Yeah.
The migrants are the problem.
The migrants are the problem. You're fucking going for a local park. Dude came last week. He don't know what's going on. And even at times, they're actually legal. They've actually been there like a decade.
I think people don't realise.
His son got scouted for Chelsea. You know what I mean? He's settled there. And then, you know, fucking him.
People don't realise it's not being an immigrant in England. It's not easy. You gotta have money.
You gotta have,
You gotta have money. It's
That's
very
a good point.
expensive.
A lot of the Chinese and Indians have come over. They're
very
coming
expensive.
like
That's a good point.
where their families absolutely caked.
You
You gotta
actually
have them
money.
out. Visas is expensive.
Yeah.
Talking tens of
Yeah,
thousands.
bro, even
Tens of thousands. Bro.
even like a scheme that we got in the West Coast, they bring people on nursing duty. Oh, that's a 10 grand process. That ain't cheap.
That's the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here.
And it's
10
like 10
grand for a
grand
visa.
here, ain't even 10 grand in night.
No.
10 grand as a local night, that's you're nice.
That's like a
You're
lifetime,
nice, bro. You're
that's like
nice.
a lifetime of captivity. Like someone has to pay that back there.
Yeah.
So the point I was trying to say is, your elites have fleeced you to the point, and the Hegelian lectured you to the point where you're worried about the migrants, but the migrants didn't raise the interest rates. It's true. The migrants didn't raise the national insurance so that the companies that was employing people could employ people freely.
Yeah.
The migrants didn't set up a situation where minimum wage, because people think minimum wage growing up is necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah,
But let's say if national insurance is £1 for every 10 you spend, so you now you employ 10 people instead of 11 people. It's the same amount of money. That's, you know, okay, living wage, everything's going up. Yeah, you want your money to go up, but the more pressure is put on businesses, the more people are going to be out of work. And now you're thinking, freaking Polish people come here and stole my job. No, the elite stole your job.
Yeah.
They got industries in this country. They used to have industries within this country.
They got systematically destroyed.
Yeah.
Bro, it was the 80s. It was, you know, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good for like the corporate worker. It was immaculate. Every other industry, like them man, like the link up with Reagan and Thatcher. You know, that was like some WWE legends getting back together to double team, man.
Industries got decimated. You had Sheffield Steel. That's the thing of the past. Coal mines, that's the thing of the past. You're talking about energy security. That's if you're a so-called government leader, the one thing you should be thinking about is energy security. You want your energy to be domestically provided. That way you don't have to pay a man in winter twice as much as you would in summer.
You know, they fucked it up with ESG, environmental and social governance. Like everything has to be sustainable. So they fuck the country to be able to go and give a quote us and say, yeah,
But that's all part of the point. That's all part of the point. That's all part of the Hegelians. That's all part of the play on the mind. You're really thinking coal's bad for the earth. Now you're all worried about heating in the winter. And you're blaming the migrants because obviously it's the migrants that are making the heating prices go up. No, you're getting played. You're getting played because the play is what? The play is to get you so desperate in the flesh, to get you so desperate in a situation that the only way that you're going to be able to see your way through out of it is rations and the digital rationing system, which is going to be the chip. That's going to be the way.
That's a good point. From how things are just getting worse, you can see that the chip comes is salvation. And because everyone's being pulled apart through your bank account's hurting, you're in debt.
Psychological warfare
It's psychological, you know what I
too.
mean?
The psychological warfare that you see, again, I've got to use that migrant issue. It's psychological warfare to where they're going to say,
Yeah. No,
chip the migrants.
no. Yeah, it's true. You know, it's like you know what? If me being chip means that migrants chip, I'm putting that. Why not? You see it? Because you remember the vaccine? It actually, obviously, there was a smaller section of people like against it, but after a while, it's like, I'm doing my part. You know what I mean? For the country, I'm doing my part.
Saying like on social media, it's like you get done, then you jump on social media posts, everyone's liking it, you're good thing, whatever.
Fist bump. You know what it was like?
Bro,
that picture.
I've got to read this. This is the book of Revelation 13:11. It says, and I
My
beheld
country
another
needs
beast
me.
coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and they used the two horns like a lamb to put you in a position where you thought getting the vax was a good thing for your situation. You got
Doing my part.
You got so Hegelian dialectic, right? What do they say? It's synthesis, isn't it? Right? Polythesis, antithesis, and they really have people out there saying, no, the vax is not good. And then they really had another person saying, no, the vax is good, and people are watching it saying, I might as well just get the vax then, innit? You got the vax.
And then the thing that put it to was like, okay, you want to travel, you want to go out and eat, you want to do certain things.
There you go.
Yeah, and then that was, all resistance disappeared.
That's it.
Because I remember even when it first got announced, it was like Trump starting it. Then you had people that were on the other side were like, oh, what, Trump's just pushing this thing through? No, I'm not going to fuck with it.
That's the two ones of the lamb.
Then months later it was like, oh, Biden's pushing it. Then they're like, oh, you're not getting it? They're looking at you like, what? Why would you get it? I was like, bro, you were doubting this like 3 months ago. But that's, like you said,
Two horns like a lamb. And the chips can be exactly the same thing. The chips can be exactly the same thing. It's going to come out here, it's all kind of spooky. People are going to say, oh, that's the mark of the you know what. Like just how they did with the vax. People were saying, obviously, it was not informed. It was not well informed. But they were saying, oh yeah, that's the vax. That's the vax is the mark that the scriptures speak about. And then lo and behold, over the process of time, they took it. Lo and behold, I had a guy in the gym. He saying, look, I got the 6 month. He's supposed to be a Christian Bible basher. He's supposed to be so-called spiritually endowed or whatever, right? And the guy said, look, I got the mark of the you know what. So when the pressure comes, these people are gonna fall. Yeah, when the pressure comes, these people are gonna fall. You're not paying attention. That's why the scripture says you're gonna stay circumspect. Because if you're not paying attention, you're gonna be swept up in the wiles of the devil. The scripture says we're not supposed to be swept up in the wiles of the devil. You're gonna be swept up by the wiles of the devil. Everything that you see on Instagram, right? That's all the point. Lifestyle's all the point because it's the same lifestyle. We're gonna put this stuff down. It's
going on? Yeah, and that's it's funny the way you saw people. It really gives you a clear understanding of like, yo, this thing is gonna be easy because they started like even they were rolling out celebrities to push it, and then I was just thinking, I was like, they really just push it like. But then the way people invest in celebrities, it's like let Taylor Swift go out and say X, Y, Z. All the women on the planet Earth
They're gonna do it.
are gonna whatever she said, they down with it. These products they get influencers to push.
Yeah.
The reason they do it is because they push them. They see a huge uptick in like sales or whatever.
Even
Influencer.
yeah, influence. Remember the other day on breakfast club, there was a conversation when she found a lady chips, and they was actually having a conversation about the chip.
So we know we're in that time. We know in that time. They're talking about it already there. They gave you a custom right there.
And there's one thing you will always start doing is making you seem stupid by being smart. Like, I mean, do you really believe the government's gonna have a track? Yes, nigga.
They already do.
You know what I mean?
They already, bro. Let you try and not pay your congestion charge,
Yeah.
your ULEZ, your whatever. You're tracked, bro. Don't have. It's like even what the bus lanes.
Yeah.
If you're driving a bus lane, a bus comes behind
That's
you.
it.
I saw a guy driving one. I was like, bro, there's a bus track there. The fine's already on the way, bro. The system's processed. You're booked.
I had a parking ticket one time, and I was like, nah, I wasn't here at this time. I tried to distribute, and they sent me my own car through the post.
The photo.
In your phone, yeah.
At 4:51,
That's you.
at 4 seconds.
4 seconds twice. It's like, nigga, that's you.
No, it's funny. It's funny you say that. Yeah. Two days ago on the plantation, this guy that I work with, got fucking he was trying to fight. This nigga is in his high vis in the camera. I said, Uncle, there's no way you can fight me. Yeah, no way, I'll try it. I couldn't believe it, bro. He's in here, he actually 4K, bro.
But that goes to show you that system of, I
Yeah.
mean, we're joking and that, but there's the real message is underneath there. The system of social, what do they call it? The social credit system, based on surveillance, based on tracking, monitoring, everything they can do. It's already here. All it has to be is really, I would say, it's gonna be integrated, right? But another brother might say that already the integration is there. But for me, all they have to do is take that system over here, right? With, let's say Visa. Visa is already tracking your so-called carbon credits. Visa's already tracking your carbon credits. They got it. They say you make a purchase with Visa, right? The bank cards that's got Visa on them. They say this particular thing is 10 carbon credits or 10 CO2 usage or whatever. Oh yeah. They got the card there. What's another thing? Google's already doing it for you. I don't know if you put your journey on your phone. You say you're going to this place. It'll show you the 2 leaves. That's the carbon credits, man. They're letting you know we're tracking this. We recommend this route because it's more carbon neutral, more carbon efficient. So all you're saying really is this system's just gonna be like take that tracking system from over there, add it up with this Visa thing. It's already there. It's already there. Now now they're saying, look, man, you want to go Glasgow, you can't go Glasgow. You used up too much. Remember when you used that long journey the last time? You're up. That's the system that they're getting ready to put up on the face of the earth. What do they say? 2 jeans, 2 t-shirts. 2 jeans, 2 t-shirts. That's owning nothing and being happy with it.
This is Jeremiah 5 and 6. Wherefore a lion of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities, and everyone that goeth. So the point is, the leopard shall watch over their cities. Isn't it? That deals with the surveillance. You know what I mean? Because it's swift. That was the point.
Even on what you said before as well, with like people being like, do you really think the government will, the fullness of that is really they don't want to think about like if the government does have that ill intent, because the fuckery for them is like what can you do? You can't do a damn thing.
Can't do nothing about it.
And that's really what has people just kind of in a jam. Because the reality of it is, you have to think like you know, left and right, it's like conservatives or Labour or whatever coming in, like, has your life got better? No, your life's got worse. Like, Labour came in how many years back? Like, they were meant to fix up everything. The shit's got worse. When Tories were in power, that got worse. When Brexit got voted on, afterwards things got worse. Like, what's going on? It's like, surely you'd think like, oh, if you got the power to vote, surely you're voting them in to make your life better. But it's not happened, man. I read this, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And yeah, that great wrath he's coming with, that's how it's all coming together. Because why? Like it was mentioned, this thing's close. This thing's basically at the point where it can just be integrated. Like all the systems are set up, they've got like the technology more or less there. They could really set as far as if everyone wants to get a chip now, it'll be very easy to track people just with the infrastructure they have now. And then there's things that they're looking to expand it even more. Now you have other countries where it's normalized. Then in the UK on the underground, they're putting 4G. They already put Wi-Fi in all the stations, but they're putting like 4G on the actual like wash on train, and then like Wi-Fi wash on the train as well, so that you can then be perfectly tracked at those times too.
They want to put facial recognition in the station, saying it's the cat's double gators.
Yeah.
That's
It'll be used for more. Because I remember from when they first started the free travel, the zip code license forever ago. Then I remember like talking to someone at the time. I was in college at the time. And he's saying like, oh yeah, they're gonna find this the catch man that go and do moves in other ends. Then I saw in the newspaper like a month later they said like, oh, the TfL had given like the travel information of someone using one of them free ones because they have your picture of your face on it. So they have your face connected to it.
Yeah.
Then it's like you go travel somewhere, they'll have you tapping in what time you tapped in, the camera's there. Then cops can be like, okay, well you're traveling from here and then you tapped out here. Whereas before they used to just bust through the barriers. With the free thing, it's just like, okay, just tap it because it's free. But then that's you know, they've used that to kind of snare you in. And that's the thing with these systems. It's like there's a trap with it. It seems like as far as people are looking at the neural net, they're like, oh, if you're paralyzed, you've got this, then you'll be able to use a PC, you'll be able to talk, you'll be able to this. That seems like, oh, it's going to be great. But then, you know, the reality of it is they're looking for everyone to get. Peter Thiel and these men are talking about, oh, we need to, you know, merge with AI, merge with technology.
Ecclesiastes 12:16. And the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He'll weep with thee, he'll weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
It's going to be cold as hell. It seems like, oh, there's going to be, you know, something good, some positive benefits to it. But then, yeah, it's something that becomes plain. It's going to do you severe harm in the long run. And that's the thing. The main reason we know is why the scriptures. That's the thing is if you don't go back to the scriptures, you're not getting the full picture of it. These men are reasoning. They're reasoning just as carnal in the flesh. Oh, what can they really do with a chip? Blah, blah, whatever. But then the reality of it is we know where their end goal is. And this is the thing is, it's like the people are only realizing now how fucked over they've got. We knew it was coming from the start. It was like we're prophesying this from years ago. You go to the apostles, it was from way back.
This is. Can I give a quick piece of something that? Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust an enemy, because iron rusted so shall his wickedness. So now people are beginning to see this. They're starting to see the rust. You know, like you get one of them dodgy cars. A guy brother say, nah, bro, don't buy that car. It's gonna rust out. Like, nah, man, it's cool, man, it's cool. You drive around for a couple of years, now you see the rust. That's Esau. Now you're seeing the rust. Now you're seeing everything that the apostles of now you're seeing everything that the apostles were speaking about. Right, for the longest time. Remember when we first came in, you see the apostles, they had the sign, and you saw the chip sign.
That was the chip sign. Chip sign was like that. People looking like, hey, how are they gonna do this?
But brother, remember we was on 3G.
Yeah, them times. Yeah, that was like just the iPhone, maybe iPhone 3G.
Sony Ericsson. We was
Yeah,
working with
it
Sony
was
Ericsson
Sony
with a
and
walk,
iPhone
walk,
with
walk,
the
Walkman thing
Oh,
on the
yeah,
phone.
BB pin and that back in the day. You know?
BB pin, yeah. YouTube had just come out. And you see the signs already been old, so they must have been there. What, 2008? Well, 2008, I don't even think phones were like touchscreen. You had color.
No, you had a BB pin, man.
Yeah, you had the BlackBerry and whatever. But the point I'm trying to say is this: the technology at that time, when the apostles was already speaking about that. The technology wasn't even there. Now it's 5G.
Yeah, like back then, if you wanted to print out something, you have to go to internet cafe. Like, when's the last time you seen an internet cafe?
Yeah.
I seen one by 10 Park Lane Station. You know that Mali one.
Yeah, the Somali brand, the hardest.
Yeah,
What's the
that's what it is.
I think they use it for that. Western Union.
Yeah, Western Union.
That's really, it's like the Western Union. It's a migrant spot. It's like other than that, it's
You don't know
generally.
Them man said it's like a halfway cap.
It's basically half a chicken shop. It's half a I never been serious. 10 Park Lane. It shows everything.
What did he say? The prophet said he's selling food.
He said, "Be serious as well."
Like you fucking go on the PC, buy some chicken and shit.
They're going to go to PC.
Don't buy
piece of
green,
chicken.
brother. Don't buy green. Buy this one.
Yeah.
Good price to give it to you, brother.
So the same place, you get food, chicken, and send an email. That's crazy.
Yeah, but we said all of that to say this. The technology's moved on so much now. It's moved on so much now. We're in a situation where it's feasible for this chip. The chip's feasible. Not just feasible, they got people out there
already,
using the chip.
they're already
using the chip.
Yeah, man, said man.
Hey, salam, man. Salam.
System here, man.
System's there, man. It's here. The chip ain't coming, it's here.
Exactly.
Chip ain't coming, it's here.
That's the thing. It's from what you read as well, Habakkuk 2. It was like it said the vision yet for an appointed time. Now's that appointed time. These things are being fulfilled. Even with the Middle East, there was like in 2011, what the Arab Spring, where people are looking like, oh, the Arab Spring, what's this? But then now you have it where it's, and the funny thing is you've had back and forths like Israel, Palestine, Gaza, West Bank, whatever. These things have been happening non-stop. I remember when I was back in the world when I was in uni, like at uni then, there were people protesting the whatever recent Palestine-Israel conflict happened then. But then it just so happened that this most recent one, that one just captured everyone. So whereas like the other ones where it would happen, would flare up for like a week or two that no one's talking about. This one's been a hot topic since. This one's been spoken about non-stop. Then even with technology, it's like with social media, with certain kinds of technology have been implemented now, that information can, these narratives can form, and then you can have something just sweep up and take over.
I got Second Ezra 15, from 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophets, which I will put in thy mouth, says the Lord. And he called them to be written in a paper, for they are faithful and true.
It's going to pass. Those things that was written 2,000 years ago, like we spoke about the apostles speaking about the ICBM chip and all those prophecies that are coming to pass in our time, right? Surely it was going to come, and surely it's coming. We can see it right now. We can see that right now.
Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Incredulity is the disbelief, because it's like
Scoffers.
They're scoffers. Remember, we used to be in Oxford Street, so many different scoffers. Remember that guy, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And then when they started to get off the road, he got like, you're not wasting your time.
Yeah, that fucking guy, bro.
Every week, that guy.
Every week without fail. But then it got real.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's like with each of the reason that they're even discussing on the Breakfast Club about getting shipped is because why? Now it's a reality.
Now it's reality. The reality's come to smack you in the face.
Because the thing is more like with most people, they would have stomach. It's like with the truth. It's like I remember I saw a video even before I came to the truth. Someone showed me a video like Baba Lies, like time ago, just in the most immaculate white garments, just like one of them videos, and I was watching. I didn't really get it. I was like, okay. But it was only after when Pius showed me, I was like, okay, came into the truth. But there's like for most people, they would have stumbled upon a video or two. They would have seen something. They might have been cool. They might have found their hand. They might have scoffed. But then it's like they, as far as there's a lot of people that would have been like, they're not really thinking it's going to be relevant. But then time passed, and now those things come to the forefront. Average Christians are talking about the mark. Before, it's like in Christianity, it's like you hear people talking about it, but they're thinking, oh, it'll be like, oh, it's a tattoo or it's some kind of whatever. But then it's only now where you're getting it, where it's like, oh, can it plant and chick? I'm like, where'd you hear that? There's a lot of the prophecies that they're talking about. I'm like, okay, where'd you hear that? Man, we're in the church for like 10, 20 plus years before coming in the truth. And I wasn't hearing what was in the truth, which is why it was so enticing.
Oh no, enticing is like, yeah.
It's hairy, you're like, oh, that's interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, how should I be in a so-called black?
That makes
That's
sense.
something you didn't hear, but now it's like, okay, well, he wasn't one.
This is Isaiah 24:11. There is a cry for wine in the streets. Joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. What he's speaking about. People are coming around to it years later. Concepts that were once being preached. Nobody can see it because it wasn't overtly in your face. But now those same concepts were preached like 10, 15 years ago, 18 years since 07 on the net. It's now coming to pass and people are seeing it. Like the brothers in the main camp in New York, Tuesday camp, it came out that the guy walked past and said, oh, y'all were right, on 34th and 7th.
Wow.
Y'all were right all
Wow.
along.
Wow.
I didn't see it back then, but y'all were right.
Wow.
And he said, I was looking for you guys and I couldn't find you.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of people where they'll probably go watch the circus, they'll go to the spots and brothers and that, and kind of be looking. Because why? It's getting real.
Yeah, but those mercies is closing. Those mercies is closing.
One of the older brothers in the main camp, I'm along the bar, he did a video where I think some woman had a dream, or Apostle Sahar said there was like, Apostle Sahar did a video. The woman had a dream that Apostle Sahar basically said that at one point there was going to be a last video made basically with each family of the word basically, and she had a vision of that happening in a nutshell. So it's that kind of time.
Can I read this precept just off the back of what both of you have said? This is the book of Proverbs 1 and 22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in scorning. Right? So for the longest time he was able to scoff, but we're getting into a season right now where he can't scoff. Because the prophecies are so blindingly obvious. Right? But you're still going to have certain ones that are not going to get turned at the reproval of the Most High's men. Right? The words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by way of his men. Right? It says, turn you at my reproof, which is the rebuke. Right? We cursed you out to tell you, look, man, the end is coming, the chip is coming, World War III is coming, total societal collapse is coming. Right? But to those that it was meant to be heard, they're going to hear. But to the rest of the folk that's out there, they ain't going to hear that reproval. Yeah. Turn you out my reproof, and behold, I pour out my spirit unto you, and my words known unto you. But because you have called and you refused. So we called, but certain guys, they was like what?
No, man, not in my lifetime.
Not in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
That's what the scripture says.
To be the old. You used to be able to get away with that. Because you'd be like, look at you, like, well, it's nothing I can see. That's what Second Peter 3.
Second Peter's free. Second Peter's free.
So things have continued since the fathers fell asleep.
Yeah.
They're just like, yo, it's life's going. Now it's like that life you're trying to have. They're gonna be upset because the money they're meant to be making isn't materializing.
That's right.
They can't pay their bumble ass start bills.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
job that's meant to be there's gone. Their woman probably left them as well. They, that life is falling apart. Only then it's coming to, they're like, okay, I'll give ear to it. But it could be too late.
Too late, man. And that's what the scripture says. Turn you up my reproof, and behold, I pour out my spirit unto you. I'll make my words known unto you. Because I called and you refused, I stretched out my hand, and no man regarded, but ye have set not all of my counsel. Most I counseled you, but you wanted the angel to come down and speak to you directly. Not understanding that the angels were the Most High right before your eyes, because angel just means messenger. provided the man was out here teaching the truth, he's an angel. That's an angel of the Most High right there, trying to teach you something. But certain people, they wanted something greater than that. You wanted something more mystical than that. As if to say the Most High is never. Yeah, the Most High could do mysticals. The Most High could send his son to manifest before you if you wanted to. But the Most High did it via the foolishness of preaching. But that's too simple for Jake. It's too basic.
They tried that way. The Lord, the people said, we don't want to talk with Moses.
We want to talk to Moses.
Wash your clothes, stay away from your wife for 3 days.
That's right.
Against the third day, the Lord will come down. He's like, all right, you want to play that game? Let's play. And what happened? They ran.
Okay, man. It's too much for you. It's too high power. It's too high level. Like, what's it? It's too high level, son. Who said that? That's one of them, the UK rappers, right? So, that you're supposed to chime in there, alright. Because I called and you refused, I stretched out my hand. That's guess, man. I called and no matter you don't listen to guess, do you? Because I called and you refused, I stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set not all of my counsel and would none of my reproof.
And then like, because in the scriptures it says explicitly that, like, for example, with Israel, the least of the flock shall be the ones to draw them out. There was a point in time, and they're still probably warring with all 5 nations. That Israel was warring with the Gaza Strip, they were warring with Yemen and Lebanon and all sorts of. Bro, it was so clear, bro, like what time we're in. And the men are like, oh yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. And as soon as the media stopped covering it, all of a sudden,
Go back to folly.
Back
to folly. And that's what that's why you read the scriptures, you read about the parable or the sower. Certain people are going to continue for a short space because it's going to be easy for them to see. But that's what makes this truth so really it makes it special when you've been in this thing as long as the apostles have been in this thing. Because you think about the ups and downs, you think about the times where it's like things are moving, but there's not that consistent article coming out about things coming out. Think about that time between 2008 to about 2015 where you know the chip's coming, but you gotta dig deep to find out the information. That makes it special.
That used to be like you were diving through sites.
Right.
They're about, okay, there's one little project here they're working on. Now it's like, bro, it's they're multi-billion-dollar companies.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now you don't have to go through the alternative sites.
Yeah.
.org.
Yeah.
You have to go
you have to have your ad block on before you go on there.
Because these prophecies are speaking. I was going to finish this. It says that, but yeah, I've set all of my counsel and none of my reproof. Right? So this is what the Most High is going to do. And we're going to do this, right? I'll also laugh at your calamity. So them guys that was laughing at us when they walked past the camp, we're going to be laughing at you. That's poetic justice right there. That's spiritual poetic justice right there. How did the Most High put you in a situation where he's deprived you of spiritual understanding. He's deprived you from seeing the prophecies. And remember, he really did deprive them. Isaiah the 6th chapter on the 9th verse says that what? Make the eyes of these people fat, make their ears heavy. So they're hearing, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like Polite, Polite was there, and then the spirit says, nah, not you.
Nah.
I don't want you. And now we're gonna be the ones.
For good reason.
For good reason. Now we're laughing at him. He's in his calamity, but it's only gonna get worse. When we're in them chariots, like the scripture says, the base of the chariots, the floor of the chariots is gonna be like glass.
Yeah.
We're gonna be seeing that. We can only imagine how the Most High is gonna do it, but we're gonna be seeing that. Whether the Most High is gonna take, if the Most High, we might have the technology there for the holograms, and you're seeing in the 3D movies of all the people, the scoffers, getting decimated. And you know the Most High is gonna make it dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know the Most High is gonna be making traffic. It could be.
You're gonna be changed.
That's right.
So
That's
you're
right.
gonna have power maybe to see it directly.
That's right. Yahweh Shai was able to see. Yahweh Shai was able to see past, present, and future. Imagine that. You're able to see past, present, and future. And now you can see a person. And that's why sometimes I be seeing people suffering. I be laughing sometimes. I'm like, I wonder what you did.
Yeah.
But when Yahweh Shai comes, we're going to be able to see, especially when that calamity comes and we're laughing at these people. We're going to be able to see, oh yeah, look man, that brother, that guy over there, you see how the bear done ripped him up and just ate his brains? He was scoffing against the man of the Lord. And there's the other things that you don't see. He might scoff in front of you, but he might be saying a madness to his girl as he walks past.
Yeah.
And surely it's going to be known that no idle word is going to go unpunished.
Yeah.
Well, in Luke 17 it says like, it was better for him that a millstone will hang about his neck and he's drowned in the sea than going to offend one of these little ones. It's a big thing, bro. It's a big thing to cause an offense, especially when you're dealing with the Lord's name.
and I see someone in a jacked up situation, obviously if it's not Jake, right? If I see Elon, right? If I see somebody, I'll be kind of smiling. You can kind of see someone's spirit too. You can see, I understand what the Most High did that to you, man. Like you see one of them Beckys that used to be good looking back in the day and she's messed up. It's desecrated. I'm like, you was doing the madness, so the Most High jacked you up. You was doing the madness. But like the scripture says, I'll also laugh at your calamity. So now, because you didn't listen, now because you didn't turn at the rebuke or the rebuke of the men of the Most High, right, to tell you that these things are going to come to pass. Well, it wasn't going to come to pass. You thought, oh no, come on, man. Financial crash? No, we're going to be good.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like all these things, there's a period of time you really could have thought, it was, it is what it is. I remember when war just meant like, oh, it's just some shit happening in Iraq. There ain't gonna be no wars elsewhere. That's why when Ukraine happened, people were like, oh, there's Europeans dying. That's what they were all torn about. Because as far as for them, it was something that was meant to be far off. Now they're saying like, oh, Russia could be here, at the cusp. Poland could get touched. This country could get touched. Then people are like, damn, oh, this is real. When it's off in the Middle East, it's not real. But that's the beauty. The Lord basically is just making them eat their words.
Well, imagine the civil unrest. The civil unrest that's happening out there in America. That's just like what people they couldn't imagine that. And for a lot of people, the problem is there hasn't been a major war upon the face of the earth for the longest time. 70 years you haven't had actual war play out on the face of the earth. But every generation has gone through something, but this is a long time since something really popped up. This is a long time. Right? The scripture says, boy, it cometh quickly, but if you think about World War I to World War II, it was a split short time from now to World War III. So people are really thinking that these things ain't going to come to pass, but the scripture says it's going to come to pass. Can I get a quick precept there? Second Ezra's, I've got two scriptures. I'm going to go Second Ezra's the 15th chapter, and I'm going to go Second Ezra's the 16th chapter. Second Ezra 15, and speaking about the sedition, right? Second Ezra's, no, I'll read just the 15th verse, right? Second Ezra 15 and 15 says, for the sword, Second Ezra 15 and 14, woe to the world and them that dwell in it. Woe to the world and them that dwell in it. That doesn't sound like a pleasant event that's coming to pass. That doesn't sound like daisies and walk in the park that's coming in the future. That sounds like you got to get your mind in the right frame of thinking. But the scripture says, looking for and hastening unto the coming day of Yahweh outside. It's got to be of a right mindset. You can't go into it, let's chill out here. I'm gonna get to those scriptures a little bit later on. You got to be on point so you can understand, right? 15th verse says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. The sword that ICBM draws, the 3rd chapter, it speaks about how the Most High is gathering all of these nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat for the purposes of the World War III, for the controversy of Zion. They touched us, now the Most High is going to touch them by way of means of the World War III. Okay, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up to fight up against another with swords in their hands. And this is the point I want to for they shall be sedition among men, invading one another. That's what you're seeing here too.
Yeah.
With a migrant thing,
It's more or less been exported in the style of America overseas.
And what does that go to show you? That goes to show you that it's the Hegelian dialectics. It's like a corporation, they at least said to us, and I believe, it's my personal belief that these companies that are specialized in this thing, I believe they at least say, all right, company A, this is the situation we want to play out. Orchestrate this to play out, right? We want you agent provocateurs to go out there and, do what you're gonna do with the little English girl, make it look like it's a migrant. That's my personal belief, and then people be watching it online thinking it's authentic. But they sorry, go on, bro.
Because that's the thing, it's like with these migrant. That's the thing, it's like with these different situations, it's like it's almost too perfect. Because even with the what do you call it? The guy that stabbed the Taylor Swift party or whatever, girls there. Like when that happened, they'll say, show his face. Then it's just like, look at the most legendary face they could have put up to do those acts. And I'm thinking, this guy's obviously a nutcase. But then that's the thing, it's like with those things, then they can just utilize that as like, okay, now we've got the narrative. Those men writing up that, those men going in, smashing up. But then it got switched into the migrant thing. It got completely channeled into, the migrant hotel. Where they were going outside the migrant hotel. That's, the narrative they're how they deal with these things. They set them things up, particular narratives, people to get invested in, like a playbook. Yeah, and then it's like you get invested, but then it's still being played. Because the reality of what matters is it's like, okay, they say they're bringing them over, they say, oh, there's little hotels they're staying in, they're paying for them, blah blah. Okay, cool. But then, it's as far as let them ship them all out. You're still ain't gonna be able to get a house. You still ain't gonna have no job. You're still gonna be able to have your cost to finish your degree.
Yeah, cost of living still gonna go
Yeah.
up. Still
And the
gonna
cost
go
of
up.
energy is still going to be up, and then you're still going to be drafted into a war when Russia makes a move. Like what, has your life got better? No. Right. It's distracting you and laws are legislation is being passed as well. That's the thing is like with these situations, you always had legislation being passed. I remember even during the lockdowns, when they had the Sarah Everard protests, that was when the police got more powers. Then you had to break up protests. Then you had the Extinction Rebellion, where you had the guys throwing oil on things and doing whatever, just stop oil. Then the police got more powers to restrain. So before, where it was like if you were protesting, there were certain protections before this. Now, like that, and then you can get defined as a terrorist group. Then you're completely cooked. Then you got no right. Then they can come and they can restrain you for how many days. I think it's unlimited. I know in the US it's unlimited. And maybe in the UK it might not be.
Wow.
But however long, whilst you're under suspicion of that.
And open up the gates to the prison.
Yeah. So it's these things all come together to show what these guys are. It's all part of that sequence of events they want going down there. Yeah, you might as well go away.
Proverbs 32 and 3. A prudent man foresees the evil and he hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Well, I say like the scripture even says like see a day of the Lord and not find it, but then like what was the ego for this thing to go down? I remember like when the 312 Olympics went down, and everyone was ready.
They got ICB on some of the hotels.
Man was ready. Man was ready for that to pop off.
I remember the conversation.
Yeah. Now, what was it, bro? Brothers were beyond ready. I was like, yo, these guys are going to madness. And it was like, it's 2012. That was when they were pushing the whole 2012. It was the whole vibe of like, oh, 2012, the end of the world.
The Mayan thing.
Everyone was feeding into it heavily. So I was like, okay, they're do things to this. But then it's like, it's funny because really, like, the world has really shifted from that point, from those points forward. Anyway, it's like, really from the lead up to like 2016 is when you had the big shift, Trump getting in for the first time. Then 2020 again. Then even more so this year again. It's just like, you compare like 2016 to now, bro, it's like, what do you think this within a decade with Trump?
And so much has happened. I remember when they said Trump had to do, they said he might die in hospital.
Yeah.
Then they did the fake assassination thing where like,
They said like, oh yeah, you turn to the side and think through his head.
yourself and see the shooter.
Yeah.
Bro, so much shit happened, man. Then the Israel thing happened as well. They started fighting all of these different, like the wars got, but we know as well, I would say that. We know as well.
That's yeah, bro. It's all these things happening, and the thing is as well, is these things happen so quickly, you don't even remember all these different things that happen.
That's right. You know,
And then,
I was going to say, sorry, from the point of things that have happened, in the way we kind of forgot about, how it was so orchestrated. I was going to say, remember, they played the Simpsons thing, right? And they compared it to the rally up in Washington, D.C., and it was play for play. We forgot about that, man. So much things is happening. So much things is happening, again, for that play thing. They got a script that they follow. That's right, I didn't need to cut you off.
Amos, the 5th chapter, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Such as has never been seen on the face of the planet Earth. And you think about all of the atrocities that happened, like the flood, where only Noah, his 3 sons, and their wives were saved. Or you think about what the Lord did to Israel in 70 AD, or you think about Pompeii, all of these different kingdoms, man, and these different times where grievous things happened. So what we did to the Canaanites, even when we went into the land, man, and the Lord said it's going to be even worse than them, where you're going to have the archangels have to come back and get involved as well. As it says, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Now, that's basically talking about a myriad of different issues that you're going to run into. Like, you might be able to escape from a bunch of army, like paratroopers trying to chase you down. You might run into a gang, run into a pack of wild animals. Basically, it's just run into an area where people are suffering from some viral disease. There's loads of consistent hell that you're going to have to suffer because of the fact that a lot of these niggas out here had the Lord open up the gates of salvation, and they chose to ignore and walk past, or pursuant to Ezekiel the 2nd and the 3rd chapter, your blood will be upon your own head, wash down hands. And even that even reminds me as well, what the Lord said to the apostles. He said, listen, any town or city where they will not receive you, shake the dust off your feet. It will be better for Sodom and Gomorrah on that day than it will be for that location. So, you know, we've been in Oxford Circus, central London. We shook our hands with them, and our brothers are in different locations. Still pushing the word, but the Lord won't judge them. They will see everything. It says, shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? Because that's why right now we're liking unto the wise virgins. We're getting our lamps ready for the bridegroom, being Yahweh Shai that's going to return, so that we're ready for the wedding. Whereas a lot of these jakes are going to be out there scrambling for the oil when the time comes, man, of judgment, trying to come and say, brother, give me some of that oil, man. You know, like, what's the Lord's name again? And I have a family relative that was like that. When the pandemic happened, you come to me, he's like, what did you say God's name was again? Well, Yahweh, Yeshua, and that. Was it, well, Yeshua, you know, the straight start getting desperate. Like, I need some answers, man. But that's why it also is written that the Lord's going to say in that day, I know you not, man, depart from me. Because you look at loads of niggas, like the IUICs, of course there's elects among those groups, but you'll have the heads that know are knowingly wicked of these different Israelite groups. So Yahweh Shai, man, I cast out many demons. I went to build a school in Ghana, man. All of that.
That's really, it's funny that you mentioned the leaders, because they really did know. It's like back in the day, the IUIC site, they used to have the name on there, but then it will have mixed in with other names as well. So these guys are doing this willful wickedness. And that's the thing is like that line, that hard line is really going to be drawn between those of the elect, those the Lord standing with, and those that are in basically ain't going to be counted, man. They're going to have to taste that second death before they get into the kingdom. And that's the thing is the reality of this thing is cold. I was watching something earlier in the week, saying like, oh, it was breaking down Christianity. It said like, oh, some Christians say like, oh, these things happen because, those are choices that are made, and some say it was preordained. And the way she said it was like, oh, that's crazy. And I was like, this is what has people so hurt. They're hurt that there are things that are basically just set within the system that they can't overturn. They're set within the way the world's been established. The Lord's like, yo, we're going to have this is what the order's going to be. The man's going to play this role, the woman's going to play that role. This nation's going to be in charge, this other nation's going to serve. And that's the thing, is really with the elite, they're the most rebellious against it. Because they're trying to fight for a blessing they really have no part in. They were given a consolation, which is, what you see before you.
So the earth in the end time.
Yeah. By the sword, by blood, by the death and destruction. What's it saying in Revelation? The horse that was red and had power to take peace from the earth.
Great sword was given into his hand.
Yeah. Through death and destruction. But then it's like in doing that, then you see the shortcomings of it. How far that falls short. And then even the governance. As far as you got the earth. How are you gonna govern it? Greed, short-sightedness. But then that's why you need the kingdom. That's why you need the elect, man. And that's why it's really the example's been shown where you're going to have the men that have been there and then said the same thing. Because that's the thing, the same thing with the scriptures. It's not changed. You go to the Old Testament, New Testament, it's not changed. You got these different what you call ideologies they try and put on top of it. But then the reality of it is plain. I read this, Ezekiel 33 and 31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a lovely song of one.
It reminds me when your house I was feeding them, they were all coming through, they were coming through in their droves. And when he walks out multiplying that bread and the fish, those jigs are coming through like, yeah, yes, teacher, we hear you, man. The moment shit starts to get difficult, hey, man,
Vanish.
vanish.
Them are nowhere to be found. It says what? A lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, but they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. And that's the coldness of it. It's knowing that a prophet's been among you. And then for those where they're basically been put in a situation where they're not going to receive it. They're gonna hear it. They're gonna be like, nah, fan the hand or whatever. Take no action. And then when it comes to pass, they'll be like, oh shit, wait, that's gonna be cold as hell. Because the beauty of it is even with a lot of these people not hearing it now, you go back 1,000 years, 2,000 years ago, these guys have been legendary menaces, man, upon Israel. Then it's the menace upon Israel, man. Because why? And that's the thing, is like you go back when Yahushua was on the scene. There were those that had faith, those that believed, those that followed, and then you had those resisting, man, doing the utmost, man. So when Paul was on the scene, man, you had men being like, yo, I ain't even gonna eat till this guy's dead. Yeah, legendary fast, like just like, no, we need him dead. And that's like the levels of resistance that we're going against. That's why it's like, and it's really why, like, them man there, they really need their eyes covered and their ears covered. Because there ain't no way in hell they can get out. They need to get judged, man.
I said, free Barabbas unto us. We have no king but Caesar.
No. Them man need to get absolutely roasted, man. Because that's the rare is judgment needs to take place. Whenever it's like, with that whatever that happened to that English girl, everyone's like, no! They're all up in an uproar because they want justice for what's done. Okay, cool. Then how much more? Yeah, the Most High needs to justice for the apple of his eye. For what's been done to Israel, what's still being done. They'll say, oh, now you've got equality, you've got rights, you've got that. Okay, cool. But then, what is that evened out everything that was done? Hell no. And then even whatever you're saying don't matter. What about what the Most High says?
Zechariah 1 and 15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Yeah, so the elder bro was saying, man, you gotta pay, man. Because the balance is the scriptures say that, that blood defileth the land.
Yeah.
So it's got to be shed. You can't just walk off into the sunset, man. And the Lord put the spirit on the wicked to go overboard, as it were. Now it was just anyway, because we needed to receive of the wrath of the Most High, because we broke the covenant. But at the end of the day, you're the wicked, man. You have to pay. That whole chip system is like it's a salvation method to try and play God. That's what the scripture says, you sit in the seat of the Most High. But it's all gonna come crumbling down, because as the scriptures say, when he's about to fill his belly, then shall the Most High rain it upon him.
Jeremiah 2 and 3. Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruit of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, says Yahweh. Majority of this nation, they all, have upon the children of Mosiah, which we are the Israel, by putting us in slavery, and all the atrocities that they have done upon our people. So Mosiah is going to what? It's going to make them pay back. What they have done to us is going to be done to them as well.
Psalm 137, I believe it is, it says that except the Lord build the house, the labor is they that build it. Like, we've got so many different, and that's why it's so important to read the video epistles to come out and to camp, because like you have the lessons that are built in all these different kingdoms that have tried to do it outside of the parameters of what the Lord has said, and they've all failed. And then like we're telling James that like the Lord's about to set an eternal kingdom, that he's gonna essentially correct us, he's gonna auto-correct us so we're perfect in it. And James still like, no man, there has to be another way outside of that. Like, I'm making too much money to get that up. I'm too Esau's treating me too well. I can't like, you know what I mean? It's fucked, man. So these niggas just have to die, because like if it was up to these niggas, we go through another period in the wilderness, like for the purge until they die out. Until they die out. But the Lord's just gonna leave you there to, and he literally says in the scriptures, he's gonna melt you as well. Literally leave you there and melt you. If you're on the shores of America, anything other than the elect, it's charcoal or put it into the burn.
2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble. And it's just. And that's the thing, is Esau's so-called justice system is meant to be based off the same thing. You know, if someone wrongs another, then you can go for some form of justice, which you should be able to do. But then in this place, that in reality doesn't play out. Because what really should be taking place is that Esau should be like, okay, well, we're going to put ourselves in the defendant box, we're going to find ourselves guilty, and we're going to take ourselves out, we're going to give everything up to Israel, and hopefully the Most High is guilty. That's the reality of what should take place. But then the reality of it is, these guys aren't trying to hold themselves not guilty. When you deal with like the Brit, because obviously we're in the UK, so we deal with the British Empire. As far as what these different nations in the British Empire, part of like the Commonwealth system, where people from former colonies can come over and make a life and so forth. That's meant to be some kind of recompense for them going over and pilfering everything from your land. But then now they're like, nah, we sick and tired of these migrants, get them out. That's what they're all about. But then, okay, how are you going to pay for the crimes you've done before? They're not trying to hear that. They're just trying to prosper and have a good time. But that's why the judgment's really already been set. Now we're in the midst of it playing out. I don't know if you've read it or you quoted it, but it's Jeremiah 51. Yeah, they would have saved Babylon, but she's not ill. They're part from her. They would. That's the thing is if you could save Babylon, it would be repaired. Trump was meant to do that. Biden was meant to do that. Trump before that was meant to do it then too. Somehow America was meant to remain great, but that's not manifesting. The UK, the Brexit vote was meant to be, we're taking over our sovereignty again. What's happened since? The price of everything's gone up. The ability to get houses has disintegrated even more. All the different fields that the UK was meant to be selling, they're all of them are dying off, like wild one. But then the truth of the matter is now, it's done now. The time's up. Now's the time for judgment.
I've got a good precept. Ecclesiasticus 41:7. The children will complain of ungodly fathers, because they shall be reproached for his sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
That's the thing. That's not the same one. It's like surely we inherit the lives. That's the difference.
But yeah, man, you guys are gonna. Sorry. You guys are gonna reap the benefits of your forefathers, because guess what? You are your forefathers coming back. So just like how we suffered for our forefathers, which is us, which led us into captivity, which led us into slavery, the same thing for you. The Most High is surely gonna judge you. Just as much as you want vengeance for the so-called atrocities against you, the Most High is gonna require vengeance for the atrocities that you've done to the world. Doth not the scripture say within the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, he that leadeth into captivity must be led into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So if the guy in the scripture says, all right, Revelation 6 and 4, right, there shall come a person who's going to sit upon a great red horse, and he's going to take peace away from the earth, and he's going to be given unto him a great sword. Well, guess what? That same guy, he's going to be killed with a sword. That's saith the scriptures. And what do we see within the book of Isaiah, the 63rd chapter? Yahweh Shai is going to come, he's going to give you the greatest ass kicking, vengeful ass kicking that you could ever imagine. Legendary ass kicking. Immaculate. Finish it.
Yeah. You know what? You know how the
Fatality.
How the Lord's deep as well is that he's already written the fate already. Like it's literally like a script that's already been written out, and Esau thinks he can somehow
Circumvent.
circumvent it, but you can't, bro.
You know what that makes me? You know what that makes me remember of? Remember, it reminds me of how they wrote the 4th season. I don't know if you brothers have watched that. I hope I'm not spoiling it for you, but the 4th season of Vikings, when you know it comes full circle, and Ragnar, he's been trying to avert his whole legacy, and then now he's going towards his death, and he says, "Tell me, tell me, Ryder, can you see?" And the Ryder says, "I can't see," and then he remembers that's how he was told he was gonna die. All that time he spent getting to that point, he ended up at the same point that he was prophesied to get on. The same thing with Esau. All of these moves to try and escape your judgment, you're solidifying it. All of these moves to try and come up like the proverbial phoenix out of the ashes of this world, Brandon, is you securing and solidifying your judgment.
You know, at the end, the most time, you know, like the famous quote, you could not live with your own thing. Where did that bring? Back to me.
But yeah, it's gonna come right back. That's why it's beautiful. The scripture says what it says. It says the trap that you set up for everybody to fall in, you're gonna fall into. What also says the scripture says how he that seeketh to save his life shall lose his life. Now check this out. I was thinking about this, right? Now you got certain guys out there in the world that are gonna try to save their life, but the ultimate guy that tried to save his life was Esau. He really tried to not be punished. He really tried to not be living the judgment the Most High gave him. He really tried to be that guy. He says, no, we're not gonna be destroyed. Our houses are not gonna be broken down. Our houses shall continue forever. What saith the Most High? They shall build, but I will throw down. Finish it.
And that's as far as there's one of the scriptures where, because it's the same thing with Jacob. There was prophecies that was not meant to apply to Jacob. There was a statement not meant to be in, but then those things got tapped onto them. But then it's the same thing with Esau. He's got a role to fulfill. He's trying to be, okay, well, if I try and squeeze around this, if I try and corner around that, if I hide here, if I change up, then those things apply. Because if you think, what was it, Revelation 3 and 10, what is it, they say they are Jews but are not. Like originally Esau should have been in there, but then lo and behold, in trying to escape, trying to circumvent, now applies to him. And that's the coldness of it, because then it's like you really were like from the onset. There was no escape. It was really set for you to, like, all you're trying to do is now be fulfilled. Because even then it's like you go to Hosea 1 and 10. It's like, you know, where the land where it wasn't known. Shall we know you're the sons of living? I can't remember the word. But it's functionally that someone else is taking up the identity, be discontinued from a heritage. But then what? But then even then, the truth still then will flourish. And then Esau will be found a liar. I read this, Isaiah 16, Jeremiah 16:19. O Lord Yahweh, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. And that's going to be found to be the truth. Surely we've inherited lies. That's the coldness of how life is going to be. The people here in the UK, these guys are thinking they're descendants of the Anglo-Saxons or the Vikings. They think they have a heritage that has some form of greatness. It's the same thing with the Romans and the Greeks. Them guys are they're talking about the Idumeans, and like about Edom, like they're some strangers. Like, those fucking Idumeans. Meanwhile, that's you, dog. That's you. You got vocab out here bending himself into a pretzel to try and say, nah, Edom don't exist. They're done. They're done away with. You know. Meanwhile, you know, you go to the Zodova Bible dictionary. What does it say? They're a great future judgment. That's what applies onto Esau. They must still need to be judged. And then as far as like where's it recorded in the scriptures that they cease to be, but all that they you know are trying to squeeze their way around, it's going to be found like BS, man.
Because I mean, as you say, like when the Lord comes, it's going to come to judge all the wicked, and the wicked is Esau. So if he comes, they say like Edom is no more on the earth, so who is coming to judge them? It's the book of Isaiah 63 I'll start from the top. Who is he that cometh from Edom, with dyed garment from Bogla? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, might to save. Wherefore art thou led in thine apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth in the winepress? Goes on to say, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will treat.
They're watching the Hebrew Israelites. Because why? That's where understanding is. That's where wisdom's flowing out
For I will treat it to them in mine hunger, and trample them in my field, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemer is come. So that's a future promise, which is getting ready to happen. And also saying the book of 2 Ezra 9, I believe, it said Esau is the end of the world. So Esau have to be on power, when the Lord comes.
And them garments being stained, parabolic, it's poetic talk for the Lord's destruction. Because he ain't actually going to get blood on it. The scriptures speak about that. He's going to have a voice that went out. The laser beam. Halshine ain't actually going to get out the chariot. He did that visual. The Lord bullet wounds. What kind of bullshit, man? What the fuck is that, man? That ain't gonna happen, man. You got to imagine it. 5,000 square miles of America is gonna get destroyed in 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's a force to be reckoned with.
People know like, because in the scriptures you have like different prophets that had were counted at different time periods, like Jeremiah, and then were during the time of the Babylonians, you had prophets during the time of the New versions. But in the scriptures, when the majority of the books you go through have a reference to this place being destroyed. Like if not all of them, most of the prophets have referenced in some shape or form this place being gone with. So it's going to be so great, bro. all the prophets of old knew there was going to come a point in time in the final kingdom that Lord was going to destroy, that they all prophesied about it. Habakkuk said, yo, I was so scared, like, being roughly paraphrased, he said he hid from the Lord, asking the Lord if he was angry at the rivers and the trees because of the destruction that he came from.
This is declaring the end from the beginning, man.
Yeah.
You know, these things right, these things hide, man.
Yeah.
So from the very start, it was the end was declared, man.
And that's why it's like, that's the thing is the stupidity of trying to just like chop off the New Testament or just bring in like, oh no, it was you know, it went out to the Jews first, then to everyone.
That's the old guy. That's the
Yeah,
old
the
guy.
Old Testament. It's like, no, then mercy came. Now the mercy was always there, but then it's like judgment's not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's again, and the thing is the prophecies that are being spoken of. It's all like it all ties in.
And the Lord, I mean, the last days is coming to save us from the hand of the enemy, of our enemy. So if you save your people, what are you going to do to the enemy? You're going to judge them. You're going to punish all they have done to your people. And that's what the Lord is coming to do. You know? So the humanity there is not going to be working. You know? That's, I mean, the Christians, they push. Like, the Lord is coming for everyone. You know?
And then the reality of what they've done under the banner of that Christianity is what the man went to the Americas and murked the tribes over there. Then put the Southern Kingdom in hardcore bondage.
Every single peace treaty, so-called peace treaty made with God and Ruth, he broke every single one of them. To this day, they got soil samples, and there's still blood in the soil. You know, they just dig up some earth. Dig the blood. You know?
Yeah, just like,
You know, that's crazy,
like
man.
some finger bones gonna be in there, like it's fruit. But then that's the man we're dealing with.
I remember in school, my secondary school, they started teaching about the atrocities that happened to the Native Americans. Like one was about in year 9. Like niggas were looking at like God like they were an endangered species. Some niggas didn't even know like what a Native American was, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, what?
I remember there was a joke in a Simpsons episode about either Simpsons or King of the Hill where they were joking like a Native American was like an endangered species.
Bro.
And I was like, it's fascinating. I was like, yeah, I've never seen someone that was like, I went to school with a girl that was Colombian, but it's like, as far as like Native Americans, I was like, yo, you never see them in like TV, never see them in thingy. The most it was like Peter Pan. Like you see them in the cartoon, that man, it was like that. It's like they extinct.
Yeah, bro.
But that's just how fucked Esau dealt with it. You have to feel it's like man was filling up the whole country. Like what the hell?
Man literally just took them out to the point where like, he tried to erase the trace from
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's gonna go up pay, man. It's gonna pay, bro.
We read this Deuteronomy 30:7, and the Lord Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. So yeah, even the curses, a big part of why this place now is crumbling is the curses that have been upon us. That's been flipped back onto Esau. Where things as far as it used to only affect Jacob. Now you've got these things decaying at this society, man. There was a point in time where it was being an American was like a badge of honor in the world. People around the world were like, oh, you're an American. Oh. There was they probably would have been able to walk around in suit in some of the wildest environments. People were like, oh wait, no, he's a white American. But then now it's the inverse. When people hear about like, oh, these Americans overseas, they're seen as some of the most disrespectful, stupidest people on the face of the earth. Some of the worst visitors to have overseas. That's why they're looking at them like, yo, what's going on with that? But then the reality of that is white. That whole image of so-called glory and money, that's what comes to pass. And then it's what the skirt's being lifted up. The fire's been made bare. It's basically been exposed the true nature of Esau Edom.
Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass that day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. So the Lord's gonna basically, and what we've gone through, although we've gone through transatlantic slave trade, we were in the hands of Esau and the Greek and the Roman Empire. He did nothing but fucking hell, inflict hell on us for years. And then we're still in this man's captivity in this modern day revival of the Roman Empire. It's a light affliction in comparison to what we're gonna be inflicting on you for that 1,000 years, man. In those days, the law is beyond time. Those days will be like an eternity. Each time.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is now you got the days being shortened. Because why? It's you know, you go to Matthew 24. It said, except those days should be shortened, there's no flesh left to be saved. And then you can really see it with how things are playing out now. It's all these things. Esau's opening Pandora's box on things you don't even understand, like GMO foods. They were saying, oh, they released GMO. Then it was like all kinds of different impacts it had upon soil, upon different crops, upon certain, you know, upon the diet, upon certain things where they were like, oh, you know, what's the impact of this? It's like they were even saying, so there was a YouTube video I saw, I didn't watch it, but they were saying like seedless grapes are something that shouldn't exist. And then they're saying, oh, this is going to have an impact. People don't even know. I was like, damn. I was like, they're just thinking like, oh, the inconvenience of like, oh, having a seed in there. I'm like, bro, it's a fruit. Like, of course it's meant to have a seed, like a seed in there. The hell are you talking about? But then that's the hubris, because this guy doesn't understand these systems. This guy's like, oh, let me make selectively breed or whatever, or deal with animals in certain ways. This guy's out here trying to edit genes and say, oh, we can make a gene so you're immune to this and blah. I'm like, bro, you don't even know what the full impact of that would be. All these different science fiction movies, what was it, I Am Legend? They said, oh, we cured cancer. And it's funny, because there's been there was I think for HIV, they were saying there's a medication that's been brought out or an immunity for it, thing for it, and for a form of cancer as well. They were saying they developed something for it, that they were looking like, okay, you could get these and then you're having them. I was thinking, bro, that was like the start of I Am Legend. And the thing with these things is like there's gonna be impacts on it you wouldn't even know. It's like, what's the other big thing? Ozempic, where they say it's being used as a weight loss drug. And I was thinking, I was like, the impacts are, I don't even like, it's one of those, you would have to kind of wait and see for the full impact of it. Because it could be light side effects, it could be heavy, who knows? It could be something that down the line, it might be like, oh, it gives you a deficiency in a particular mineral that needs to be produced, that would not, because it's meant to cut off your hunger. Whatever hormone or whatever is related to that, having a deficiency in that might cause an issue down the line. Who knows? These are things you're playing with, where it's like the body's been crafted. It's functionally, it works all by itself. The insanity of the body is like, you just go to adulthood, you come into your maturity, then you can just like hook up with a woman and then produce another person. Like, that shit's insane. Like what Esau's making, Esau's older AI, older this, older that. Bro, you can't accomplish anything on that scale. The Most High has put together ecosystems where you're gonna have a bunch of different animals, different forms of trees, plants, fruits, whatever, all interact and then just maintain themselves. Like, you ain't even got to do shit. They're just there, they're doing their thing. But then this guy's like, nah, I can come in and fix that. Historically, him coming in and fixing that, what's it done? It's fucked up everything.
And like even in Moab land right now, they got robot bits like robot producing babies and that. Baby producing. Fuck.
It's like, bro, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing is, it's just like, it's like women can serve. Like, there's no reason women can't serve that role. Yeah. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Like, you're gonna make life way harder for everyone involved doing that. But then it's really pride and vanity.
That's like Edomite vibration, bro, running up these days to the point where, like, why would you do that? Like, you got a woman for that. Why the fuck do you need a fucking artificial womb
when it's like, we don't want to have kids, so we just artificially just produce some BS, man.
They warn about it in the Matrix.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah 14 and 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
For the longest, America is still technically the most powerful military, but they're very spread thin as well. That's one thing they don't like to go into. America's got military bases and troops in loads of places, and their troops are not as powerful. Like in Iraq, yeah, they obviously the American military was pushed by the media as having like swapped the Iraqis. But them Iraqis, those Iraqis were going at it, bro, like hard, to the point where like, if you watch the documentaries, you've got American and British soldiers, bro, limbs missing, fucking all kinds of fuck.
IEDs, I think it was the Hummer as well.
Bro,
They said it was like IEDs just getting dashed underneath them. All the armor didn't mean anything. They had to develop a whole new vehicle to protect on the underside, because they'll be in there. That's why they'll get limbs blown up, legs just getting blown up. Which then you think it's like, what all that might you're producing, all that bluster, does it really come to much? And it's funny because I was saying the same thing with Russia. I was saying, oh, Russia's military is incompetent in this. They should have been able to say, go to Ukraine this way. They're wasting time here, they're wasting time there. The other thing that someone pointed out was Russian military now got a whole generation of people that have 2-3 years of experience in military conflict, dealing with all kinds of devices, all kinds of warfare. The other militaries are just not prepared for it. Even the US, even if you're dealing with the people that fought in Iraq, a lot of those guys are retired. That was like, I think, ended 2011, 13, something in that kind of range, time ago. So a lot of those were like guys, if they came in their youth, they would have still aged out by the time anything pops off now. Then you see the current generation, these TikTok niggas going to war.
they ain't ready for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
The American military, yeah, they got the machines, but in terms of the personnel, yeah, they got like a big population, but they're not as skilled as what you think, bro. Like they'll get, they suffer mass casualties in Iraq, and they're gonna suffer immensely as well with this new form of warfare, man. Because it's not gonna be swords clanging or trench warfare. This is gonna be literally buttons pressed and burning and blowing up.
You got more in yours.
Yeah. And it says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened up the house of his prisoners? Yeah, that's pretty much it. He fucked up the world, man. Because, like the saying goes, when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. They kind of control, like, the earth, Babylon the Great is America, but the whole world is pretty much under that vibration of Babylon the Great. But then the contrast is going to be when the kingdom comes, right? You're going to have proper rulership. You're not going to have no artificial AI robots trying to give birth and all that bullshit. You're not going to have, messed up waters. Things are going to run smooth. And then the nations are actually going to see the contrast of, oh shit, the old world versus now, this is better. And then that's when it's really going to be made apparent that Esau Edom was a nasty piece of shit. And he just fucked up that's when, you see, we appreciate it now because the Lord has given us the understanding, but the nations will appreciate Job 9:24 in the kingdom. That the earth was really given into the hand of the wicked. Everything we thought was normal was just fucked.
Ecclesiasticus 10 or 7:1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the manner of man, all they that dwell therein.
Now, that's the thing with Esau, is he's been, what does it say, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will they not learn righteousness. favor's been shown. Esau's had Amalek's been in the land. They've basically had the means right, as and when they so desire it. But then these guys have had the war. There've been nothing but terror onto the earth. To the point where it's going to be nothing but relief for everyone once this guy's taken out the way. I read this Romans 9 and 18. It says, "Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, on whom he will he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but O man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if the
I'm sorry, what I was gonna say. Like in slavery, they had Jake here, and they had like zooms, and like they had the women in there talking about how blacks have bums so big, and all the rest of it. Oh, so-called blacks have a brain that's they have no problem saying like, oh, Jake or the people who gets up a man and all the rest of the shit. But when you're down telling Edomites, actually, no, you're the inferior. You suffer from leprosy. Your blonde hair is actually an efficiency trait. Your blue eyes and your green eyes ain't actually what you think it is. They got a problem. What you mean?
Yeah.
How can God make me and not make me?
Yeah.
What makes you better than me?
God made me as well as like, bro, it's like, okay, you were made, but then it's as far as like you were made for a different purpose. The value of it is they're viewing it from a viewpoint of the world, where they think there's some pride or some worth in them just putting them on the face of it. Like, bro, it's in reality there's leftovers, man. There's extras.
reparations for black people and more. And then he goes, but we gave them roads. We gave them roads and then we sent our we gave them roads. And we know our immaculate NHS, we had nurses there. You know, we sent our nurses that could have been here building our but we sent them to Africa. You know? Okay.
He's like, damn.
So why would it make sense to give them reparations? That was so long ago. Why would we do that?
They just complain of ungodly fathers.
It says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And that's the reality of it. That's what we're witnessing now. This is a place where it's like you look at it and think, bro, it's like people are talking about, oh, and you know, they're thinking about Star Trek and whatever, going off and colonizing Mars and things. Bro, this place is it even going to last another 15 years, 10 years, 5 years? Bro, everyone hates each other and everything's collapsing. All these systems and industries that were what built the country up, they don't exist. Men are trying to bring in AI so that a bunch of entry-level jobs don't exist. So that means that whole generations of people coming in, there's going to be no way for you even to get your basic skills. These guys are trying to automate things to where they don't have to hire people. They want it like car factories, where you have like 1-2 man checking, the robots are keeping the other robots in check, and that's it. Yeah, bro, that's what man will do. It's like, I've seen a fact, there's one in China.
Alexa's keeping co-pilot.
Yeah, bro. It's like, it's just like, fucking Mexican standoff between the AI.
Mexican AI standoff.
Down there.
Yeah, but it's for real. That's true. Mid-level, a lot of these mid-level positions are going. A lot of these sort of situations people was able to get up into them little corporate jobs. That's a thing of the past, man. Thing of the past. What everybody's talking about right now. Remember, these businessmen, they be talking to each other. They be communicating. You get one guy saying, look, when I saved 100 grand this year just getting the AI, what do you think he's going to do? The next guy's going to do? He's going to get Alexa. next guy's gonna get the co-pilot. The next guy's gonna get the Apple version, and you know, we're being comical about it, but that's the reality of what's coming. That's that's the reality of what's already here.
Yeah, because then you got to worry about complaints and all of that stuff.
Yep.
You ain't got to worry about complaints.
Robot.
If the robots do.
Workers' rights and all kinds of expenses related to them, all that goes out the window.
National insurance.
Yeah, national insurance is a big one.
Yeah, and then you got the strikes and all of that.
Yeah.
Strikes.
I mean, that's the thing. It's even though, like, what was it with the? Was a voice actor? No, it was the actors. Where they were saying using their likeness in movie, they wanted to keep a gap, like keep it so they couldn't use their likeness in AI. But then you had like what was it? The voice of Darth Vader, like he left his rights so that they could use his voice to do Darth Vader with AI after he passed.
James Earl Jones wants to live on forever.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was like that because they put him in Fortnite, and then people were posting it, and then I'm saying, can they get sued? Blah blah. But then it was like he'd given it his permission, and then the reality of it is with those things is they're gonna do it anyway. Because like people already, it's like with there's that period of time they were doing like Joe Biden and Trump, like saying certain things and whatnot, back and forth and shit like that. So it's if you've got enough public speaking, they can train it off you. And then they were saying as well, there was like people that are doing like phone calls where they don't say anything and they're just recording your voice to try and train an AI of you, of what you're saying and stuff like that, so they can then use your voice. So these things are already developed, and the thing is there's like you'll need to use a legal framework to cover it, but the elites control the legal framework, and they want it.
So bend it to whatever they want to bend it to.
I got a scripture. This is Psalms 49 and verse 11. And this goes into what the brother was talking about earlier. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations, and they call their land after their own names. And that's just what it is. Like Saquon was saying, that they think that they're gonna get to a point in time where you're gonna have flying cars and we going into the future and everything, but nah, this place is already cooked.
Hologram iPhone.
Yeah, the hologram iPhone and all that. But when you look at people, but yeah, I mean,
Apple Vision, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at people right now, hey, everybody's stressed the hell out, man. People don't really want any more with life. So I mean, hey, it's just the end. It spells the end.
It's interesting you say that, because really, when you think about productivity and having slaves, there is a real sense of well-being when you've got something to do, even as a slave. So when these nations are underneath us, brother, all right, you're in slavery for the first 1,000 years, hardcore, but it's going to be a great honor and a great satisfaction to serve us, man. Because underneath Esau, what really can you be satisfied off of?
Bro, there's the thing you're like is you're making money for someone else, and then it's like even what you're building up has no worth. A lot of what people do is like they're doing something where it's like it's pointless. What they call that, the meeting hell, man. Where man are just like, okay, you're having a meeting every morning, you're having a roundup meeting at the end of the week and a super duper meeting at the end of the month, where they're saying, okay, what did you do? Okay, this is what your plan is for today. Because why? It's like if they're not doing that shit and like pretending to do their job, then they're not like they're gonna get fired. So they need to just overcompensate. Then you're just there like a part of your day is wasted, where it's like, oh, they don't understand your job, so they give you some dope shit tasks to do. And you're like, bro, like you're waiting. Like I could get more done if you shut the fuck up and stayed over there, and then let me do my thing for the week. And then this is like how a lot of these companies work, where there's just a supreme amount of waste, supreme amount of
Inefficiency.
Inefficiency. And then the thing is, a lot of them, it's like you talk to any brother, and you ask them about their boss, how dog shit they are at their job, how much they don't understand like what they're doing, but then they're still able to flourish and have success, because the Most High just has his thing running. But then the reality of it is like in the kingdom we have things in order. And then there's a reason to that's something. It's like Esau's got that overwhelming legendary greed. Bro, it's like far for us, it's like we're gonna have, we don't need to have that supreme abundance. And not gonna need to be here just telling you, "Look, go with it." Like, no, I'm gonna get my dick sucked, bro.
But here's the thing. Here's an interesting concept that I read about this other day, and it's the idea that you would think because if you take the lion out of the jungle, then there'll be more deer. Wrong. You'd think if you took the whales out of the oceans, that there'll be more fish. Wrong. Really, how life works, I forget the scientific word for it, is how the ecosystem works is the whales was actually fishing. They was circulating things in such a way where the fish was in abundance. The same thing with the lion. So the point I'm trying to make is this: the pure act of greed actually is not constructive to life.
Yeah.
When you're just trying to,
It's unsustainable.
it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. Surely, if you're gonna give somebody, if you got so much that you got 18 trillion, and you give somebody a little piece of bread, surely they're gonna be more productive.
Right.
Surely they're gonna bring more. Yeah, but this is how Esau set it up. He set it up to where you can't even get a little crumb off and be saving pretty soon.
And you know, it's funny, right? You mentioned the ecosystem. Because I spent all day on Friday just watching, economic stuff. And you know this guy, Richard Warren, he was talking about how, in America, they still have a lot of banks today. But throughout the process of time, they actually wiped out a lot of banks. And so, usually you have to have certain amount of banks to cover certain different areas. So the more banks you take out, is the more, of course, powers transferred to the central bankers, and the very few that are really the central bankers. And now everybody else has to rely on these banks that are in effect, so to speak.
So when they fell, everything fell.
Everything falls. Yeah. So then the people don't have a bank to go to.
Yeah, greed ain't it. Greed ain't it. It's not conducive to life, man. It's not conducive to life.
Read this. James 5:1. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten.
Now, can I say this, bro? One of the reasons your riches are corrupted, like the Bible mentioned earlier, the land that you're living on, there's blood on it and spilt. And the scripture says the land is defiled until the perpetrator of blood, his blood is spilled. And that's beautiful because what saith the scriptures in the book of Revelation 13 chapter? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So your riches, they're corrupt. And that's why the scripture also says in the book of Job, they swallow down riches, but they gotta vomit them out. You have so much cake, it's like, no, it's too much, I gotta throw up. That's Esau. That's Esau.
They had that in, what was it, Hunger Games? When they had the guys in the catwalk, they'll eat, and they'll have the little cups, they'll drink it and throw up.
The vomitarium.
Yeah, and then they'll eat some more. And that's the thing, it's like, that's what the elite desire. They really have that, they just want everything in abundance.
Yeah.
But then it's the truth of life is balance. But that's what it's like. The reason why it's like even people that have abundance on the side, a lot of them they have fucking terrible lives, terrible relationships. They got all kinds of stresses in other ways. Even when you've amassed all that wealth and the way you've gotten it, then you have stress about someone else wants to fuck me over and get
Right.
It's like you can't really have people around you. You only got people that want to use you around you.
Yeah.
Then it's like if you pay someone to be around, then they're just there because of the money.
Yeah.
Like these are all, it's like, and it's all because of your thinking just hoard everything.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of go with the flow and you're like, well, that's what it's seek ye the kingdom first, then everything else is added on top. You got to come with a mindset and approach of just being like, okay, let me do what I do, cling on to the scriptures, cleave onto them, and then everything else is everything else. And it's even with Solomon's a good example you can go to, King Solomon, for putting the wisdom first, desiring the wisdom. But then in this place, it's get the bag by all means, get money by all means, get success, get fame, do any and everything, just so you can get that. But then in doing that, what's the result? You have guys fucking taking themselves out. Them guys, when they get the money, they're bugging out, man. They're fucking snorting all kinds of drugs, the dog, he slaps the wife, and he's just like, fuck! And he's like, what? He can't even, he probably succeed. But it's like, what, you know, what's your life even like after? But then it's when it's, if you mentioned before land, say you just had your own land, you know, you have your little crop them, you have your little, your house, your hut, you got the wife, you know, you got the sheep running around, you're chilling, you're vibing, man. Like, especially keeping it till in the field, it's like, especially when you have enough hands or it's proportionate in scale, that's not going to be too exhausting of a job. If you've got like hectares and acres, but then it's just you, then okay, you're going to be losing your mind. But then if you have a proportional, then it's just like, it's chill. Like, you can wake up whenever the fuck you want. Till that shit, once it's kind of growing, then it's just taking care of weeds, taking care of animals, taking care of things, so it can flourish. Once it flourishes, you have a good harvest. You might have a good harvest that you don't even need to work that hard the next year. You might be like, damn, this covered me for the next 3 years. I'm just gonna do just a little.
And you making money while you sleep.
Yeah. Once you're getting your dick sucked, man.
At the same time.
You're getting your dick sucked, like, man.
Ecclesiasticus 41 and 12. If thou sit at a bountiful table, be not greedy upon it, and say not there is much meat on it. And that's the reason. This whole earth, it's like a table. Full of resources and all the things that people can enjoy. But he also wants to be, to have everything by what? For himself. You know?
Yeah.
Which make other people suffer.
Yeah. And the thing with that as well is, like, if you consider like a river, like, you're gonna have precious metals, minerals in there, and then the purpose of those things is the filtering of the water. Then the filtering of the water keeps it clean. When it goes down to its destination, then it's got a purpose to serve when it gets to the lakes, when it gets to the other tributaries and whatnot, and it goes through. There'll be an ecosystem of animals that will deal with that water, where it being purer is then better for the animals, which then is better for other things down the line of the ecosystem. So if you just think, oh, there's gold in this, oh, there's this precious metal in this, let me just go snatch it out. There'll be veins of minerals in the earth where you might think, okay, let's go down, dig out every last one. Then afterwards, the quality of all the land around there starts to degrade, because the presence of those minerals, that serves a purpose on the earth. Even when you're growing crops, part of it is of why you do crop rotations and why you have the land Sabbath. It's because the minerals from deeper in the earth then need to move up. So that then when you're planting something, then those plants actually have those minerals to grow from, to then actually get those quality vitamins and things you need in the food. That's why you have food now where they've got chemicals, they can basically induce it to be full, it's got calories, but it's empty calories. You're meant to be eating them things, and it's like, ooh, you hit that, and it's like you took drugs, because it's doping you up. Man will be like, oh, you eating ancient oranges? No, you are. That guy is doping, bro. Look at his bicep tripled in size when he eating an ancient orange. That's how good them things work.
It was highly nutritious.
Yeah. And that's when you saw even those. That's why it's like they have seeds of some of those older strains, but then it's not for the sheep. That's not going into the public. Not for the going.
And just to go into what you're saying, right? Because like the scriptures also says in the I think it's in the Apocrypha, it says that I'm going to roughly paraphrase, our ancestors, which was before us, were much more greater.
Greater stature. Yeah, look and ask a woman to give a birth. If they that came before of greater stature came after. It says as well, it's like even when the womb was up in age, so when a woman's older, then the children are lesser stature. And that's something in the modern age now they said, like, more geriatric pregnancies than ever. And then even then, the prior generations were just, they had more strength to them. And as time went on, it's weakened. And if it's the people, then how much more the land has been desecrated even more than the people. The animals, man, there's whole strains of animals, Esau's just took them out. Because, oh no, you know, we take them out and we water. It's like, bro, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Kill all the bees and all the
Yeah, man. So what was it? Thing he was talking. What's his name? This guy was what's his face? I was like, the way the dog's putting it, I was like, bro, I was was like, why is he like even? Yeah, I was like, bro, it's like, are you even like able to? Why you got such a big dog if you can't even keep? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was like, it's so crazy. I was like, is that even his dog, right? Yeah, that's what
Just a piece of rugby.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, man, it's like, you have a big dog, man. And it's like,
someone now. So it's a problem. What the fuck is he doing? This is what we got. This is why eating my fruit. Put down, man.
what are you doing? You're just looking at it like, oh no, it's like with all the cats.
Stop there, look.
Yeah, that's what I was like, bro. They already have what was it, XL bullies, man. Okay, yeah, he just came back himself. Yeah, the dog is actually. I said there's a spirit on the dog. Just got the guy just.
That's in the law, though, isn't it? If the dog is on a second offence, you kill the owner and the dog.
Yo, in that day though, that dog will probably eat him.
Yeah, nah,
A lot of
for
people,
real.
a lot of people. I put curses on people up like that, man. I put cursing out people like that, man. I've been telling them most, I've been asking them more side to make that dog jump on, man.
I'm legit just like.
Exactly. The dog's taking him on over.
It changes the whole direction for the animal.
You can't handle something like that.
Yeah, and he don't get no exercise because he tired out quick.
Oh, of course.
So it's like, bro, you should
The cat too.
These are the rulers of the earth, man.
that's what I'm like, bro. What else? I'll finish this. James 5:2, it says, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as of a fire. Yeah, and it's all that gold and silver, they heap it to themselves, but then it's a thing that they can't even deal with. Like you got like as and it's gonna go into as they're holding it. It's not for them. Because that's the thing, it's like Esau's had the root, then it's you know, what's he done with the root? No bullshit. He's like a child playing with Legos. The way he's dealing with things. He's kind of snapping things together and frying things up. But then it's how much more so with wealth, with abundance. You don't know what to do with that. That's why it's like even with the elite, the aesthetic of the elite, they wear like what? Chinos, a polo shirt and whatnot, and they don't really have any like things that let you know they have money like that. That's why it's like, you know, these guys ain't meant to have money, man. That's what it's like, even wearing a gold chain on an Edomite don't even look right. So that's why it's like Jake for that, man. It's like what the gold hoop drinks. Let Jake bro have some gold hoop here. Oh no, that's a wrap, bro. I'm like, oh no, my finger weak. My knees getting weak and shit. Cause that shit just look good. But that's the thing. It's like you deal with Esau as far as for like how he's meant to look. Because he's got that curse, he's got that leprosy on it. Certain things don't look good. Once it's like even black and gold, that's like a black and yellow. Those colors together, they work together. There's certain things designed where it's like, oh, black and gold together, it works. So the dark skin and the gold is complementary.
Pink and gold don't go.
Oh no, oh hell no. Oh hell no. It says, behold, the higher, what's it say, yeah, ye have treasured together for the last days. So those things are going to have to go to Jake. Because even with the land, you think we got the laws. We're going to operate, when we go into the kingdom, we ain't going to have a choice but to operate under the laws.
Right.
So dealing with the laws already have it set how you're going to deal with the land. The laws already have it set how you deal with the animals. I was thinking the animals, like looking at those, like dealing with the animals. There's a certain way you're meant to deal with them. Some of these dogs, the way they're acting up, is because what? The owners might not deal with them a certain way. The diet's fucked. They don't get enough exercise. The home state is a fucking mess. But then it's like the way Jacob deal with animals is what? The being a shepherd. That's what the forefathers was used as an insult against them. So the Hebrews are shepherds. But then what? It's care for the animals. That's a beautiful thing. That's something that now Esau will care for his dogs to an extent. That's about it.
Literally. He'll probably be shagging the dog.
Yeah, that's it, bro. It's bro, the white women, bro. It's the amount of white women having, sex with dogs, like recording it and putting it online and that. I was like, bro, I thought that was a joke. Then it was like the news story was coming out. You see, like they're posting. I was like, God damn. I was like, she wouldn't even have trouble getting laid. Like, what the hell are you doing?
When you go on, if you use any of these social apps, so you go on the search pages, like, and you have like the algorithm feeding you, like, or pedal, you see like Edomite women with the dogs just licking them up in the face and doing all sorts of madness, bro.
Yeah, that's some shit. I didn't think that was real. No, I was like, oh, they're putting movies. I was like, oh no, there's actually people. Oh, I was like, wow. It's like that's fine. They don't even wash their mouth. I was like, well, go to the bike, like, what? Disinfect.
Yeah, it's true. Like I say, like, a lot of people don't appreciate the fact that the Bible's got like common laws, it's got family values, it's got food laws. People think the Bible is just some some book of fairy tales, when in actuality it's got laws and instructions on how to conduct yourself on earth. That's wisdom, and it's also like proper, like very straight and to the point and succinct, like the Hebrew language. Whereas with Esau's law, there's clauses and fucking sub clauses and different ways to interpret laws. It's all fun.
That's an argument they put against the Bible. They say, oh, well, it was written 2,000 years ago. Should we really apply it in that way? And they say, oh, Jesus never said anything about gay people. I'm like, bro, that's why you can't just chop off the Old Testament and deal with the New. Because they're talking about the laws. It's like, what laws are they talking about? And then you go to certain practices that are being dealt with. Like, where does practice come from? What's this Hanukkah? What's this different thing? You have to go into the prior books to get the breakdown. You're like, what's this Passover thing? You'll be thinking, what's this? And then, that's why man is celebrating Easter. They don't know what the hell the Bible's about. They think they're in a state of confusion. But that's the thing, it's like when you, with the laws as well, these are things that, like, if you were to tell people about the year Jubilee, they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's like, certain debts, you can only hold it for a certain amount of time, and then even if it was going to be wiped the next year, they can still give you the thing. They'll be like, oh, that's great. Why don't we implement that? Because why? It's like, you see, what's the alternative? Now you've seen the alternative. You've got motherfuckers where they'll get in debt at like age 18, and he's 72, and he's still just like, it's hanging over your head. The sword of Damocles.
This is the book of Hebrews, the 13th chapter, verse 8. Just quick one to the point. Yahushua Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. And then also the scripture in the Old Testament in the book of Numbers speaks about the fact that the Lord is not a man that he should lie. And his sayings are constant. So what the Lord said in regards to how you deal with a mole back in the time of Adam is the same today. Like, and the way that you deal with your brother is the same to this day. Like, there's the way food you should eat. There ain't no change in that. Like, I always consistent. In Esau's world, he'll make a law and then realize. So, for example, they used to have all sorts of different taxes that didn't work. They used to have wealth taxes in different parts of Europe, and then they realized, shit, it's not really working out how we thought it should work. So they'll remix the shit and take it through the house and get
more money in it.
And fuck with the shit. The Lord's sayings is constant. Like, it's been the same since the beginning of the days, man.
Matthew 5:17. Think I'm come to destroy the law, or the prophets come not to destroy but to fulfill. So
cold and plain and to the point. That's what it's as far as with the modern Christians, they can't deal with the scriptures. As soon as you go into the Bible, whatever doctrine they're dealing with, that doesn't apply. And in reality, it's they're just trying to mix the modern world with the scriptures, man. And that's not anything new. It's Council of Nicaea. was the same thing they did to create Christianity in the first place. They were basically dealing with it. Even, well, you go to the first book of Revelation, you had different churches where there was funny business going down. And Yahushua was rebuking them and saying, look, these things you're going off on. So that's not even new. But then to them run with it now and just be like, oh yeah, well, this this Christianity or this whatever, those things don't apply. Because like the brother read, it's the Lord, I am the Lord, I change not. And Yahushua is the same thing.
Because a lot of Jakes as well gonna like try and take this truth and make it into their own version of what they feel like the reality of this thing is as well. That's like every time we have a Jake stopper come on, there's always on some like they always have a I hear what you're saying on X, Y, and Z, but there's always a sort of, and that's like in the time of Paul, Apostle Paul, Mars Hill, with every Jake having their own doctrine and way of being and point of view and angle. But that's why again, like the Lord is just gonna save the elect, because in the wilderness, that's what you had when we was in the wilderness. Then you had niggas coming up and saying, Moses, I don't think we should be operating like this. Why don't we just go back to Egypt with the water balance, the leeks and the life?
Garlics, man. Onions. That's the thing is with that view, it's nothing new, and it's basically gonna be. And this the thing is there were people that saw the miracles Yahushua did, and then was still low down, dirty pieces of shit.
Hello, precept. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is desperate, deceitfully above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And that's off the back of the point you said. People try to make the Most High into their vision of their own mind. Not my Jesus. That's it. And that's right. You've got your own Jesus, but it's not the Bible. It's not the Lord of the Bible. You've made your own God, which is yourself. And that's why the scripture says they serve the what? Their own belly.
And even Judas is a good example of that. The guy had spiritual power. He was around as well. He was there. He saw everything. And he said, "Nah, man, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up the law for this silver here."
But it was set up. You have to do that. You have to do that. Somebody have to do it. Somebody have to play that character. And then the kingdom is gonna be in his right mind.
Yeah, I got something too. Yeah, this is Romans 11, verse 8 to verse 9. As this reads, according to as it is written, for the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day. And David said, let their tables be made a snare, and the trap and the stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. So that goes into what you brothers was talking about in regards to just, people in general. Jake primarily, they have their own personal view of how they want to see the Most High. But there's the instructions that are already given. All you gotta do is open the book and read, and let that be what it's going to be in your life. But Jake don't want to do that. So therefore, they're going to suffer the consequences. But the Lord really blinded them anyway. So,
the scripture says, I forget exactly where it's at, but I said what paraphrase, all things obeyed as well. Like even Yahushua, the second most powerful being, literally when he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, the oil press, he sweated blood. He didn't want to go up on the cross, but he said, at the end of the day, if it be your will be done. Lord. Because at the end of the day, that was the only way that we could then have the opportunity we have now through grace. And he did it for the fact that it was his Father's will. But you got Jake's now, like, regardless, still, like, they just wanna, they feel like, you got Jake talking with that free will kind of spirit. Talking about, I can create my own destiny, I can make shit happen how I want it.
Was it manifesting? Yeah, manifesting, all that shit. But it's just witchcraft. It's Jake's always been into witchcraft. But then it's just manifesting the new type, the new fresh presentation of that witchcraft. I read this, 1 Corinthians 2 and 13, which things also we speak not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, but they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Yahweh Shai. So yes, that's with this it's a spiritual thing, and then it's even our gift of understanding this. It's a spiritual gift. The ability to go into and break these things down. That's something that's beyond what you can't just go and study and get it. And that's a big stumbling block for a lot of people with this truth. Because a block's been put on them where they might think. And the thing is as well is that Esau's got his different analytical systems of whatever, study and researching things. But that's just him trying to make his own sort of power where he doesn't have to acknowledge the Most High. He's really just trying to be like, okay, we've got a whole system, we've got ours, okay, well, you've got the most, we've got the Big Bang. We've got, okay, well, the Earth is 7 billion years old. 130 million years ago was when the first people came around. And I'm just like, bro, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like, verify that. But then they say it's like there's meant to be hundreds of millions, but then you've only got like 10,000 years of what it is. Like, what the hell are you talking like? And that's what you're saying.
Right.
So how the hell does that run?
That's crazy. That's that carbon dating stuff.
Yeah. But that's when they say, oh, when that time I say so. Because I was like, how do you know? Were you there? How the fuck? They're like, well, if you go to the layers of the thing, I was like, bro, you don't know what the angels are getting up to, bro, when they're crafting those things. For you to go and be like, oh no, that's what happened.
That's why the scripture said the foolish man said there is no God.
Right.
Yeah.
Check the carbon dating.
Yeah.
People be hooked onto these things, man. They be hooked onto these things. The carbon dating, the fossil fuels, they be hooked onto it. The dinosaurs that died millions of years ago.
National Geographic and like with the music in the background.
With the Hans Zimmers,
Then the Jurassic.
Yeah, with the Hans Zimmer playing, you know what I mean?
So, bro, I was listening to a podcast on, I think, was it either China? No, it was like the Normans or something. And then I was like, bro, it began with like talking about the formation of the Earth. I was like, what? I was like, bro, I didn't come here for this. I'm here to get to the fucking killing, bro. Get to the invasions. That's what I'm here for. So I wanted to, but then it's like, that's the thing. It's like all these things are wrapped up in the general view. In normal conversation, people just throwing, when the first people walk around, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, it's like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? But then it's Esau's made it it's really just a standard to function in Esau's society. It's part of it, like we mentioned, the blonde hair, the blue eyes thing. Acknowledging that as like the pinnacle of beauty, that's just so you can function in Esau's shit. When you go to like Hollywood or whatever, that's why it's what happened in these countries, he's conquered, man. Like, was it Korea, South Korea, China, Japan? They have it where it's like, oh, that white image is what they'll kind of like seen as the pinnacle of beauty.
See, it's funny you said that. Me and my brother was speaking yesterday, and he mentioned that he was watching a movie where the Edomite pirate marries into the Korean royal family. Well, that's a mind.
Yes, the money.
That's a mind mess up. That.
Yeah. So any scrubbish nobody
Can marry into the royal family. They
no,
really
yeah,
letting you
criminal,
know.
an actual criminal. It's like, oh, he's royalty now. But just because he's white.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's like psychological warfare, man. And which, when you really look at, I don't mind Edomite women or Edomite looking, but really, they's better looking. It's because we're here, isn't it? If I was amongst the Edomites, brother, I'll be trying to deal with Eli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll deal with the Edomite woman if the Most High permitted. But really, Esau, that level of beauty is on a low level, and they really push that hard. Like there's more Edomites in the world than anything. There's more people of color than Esau than anything. But that's the standard of beauty in the world. It's a mind mess up, man.
And they've been doing it for a while, even on video games like Super Mario, where you gotta save this white blonde hair Princess Peach.
Yeah, that was made in Japan.
Yeah. So they were under that white
Straight
supremacy.
Japanese making it. Some former samurais put the sword away and then like, yo, let's save the white woman. But it's Esau's realm, man. He's basically set that as a standard, and then everyone kind of they run with it. And then it's Hollywood. That's what it's like for the image. Hollywood is chief over image because that's
Witchcraft.
supreme witchcraft. Because you think it's like the Disney movies become the standard
Yeah.
of like what you show to kids.
Like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's bestiality.
all these different.
Peter Pan. That's actually there's actually a idol behind Peter Pan, right?
I think
There is.
Yeah.
I think it's
I think
because
it's
of
Pan?
Pan,
Is it
yeah,
Pan? I
Pan,
think it's
yeah.
Pan, yeah.
And he's a pedophilia deity.
Yeah.
And then what's Peter Pan? He's trapped in adolescence.
Yeah,
With a cat
Oh,
hook.
yeah.
Yeah, but Pan is I think he's a half horse, half man or something like that, isn't it?
I think that goes
Or
with
Satan.
This is what I'm mixing.
No.
Because Pan means all.
Oh, yeah. So it could be that. That could be one of the directors. But
Yeah.
the idol Pan, I think he's half man, half horse or something. And then he plays the flute. Satan, that's the one, yeah. And he plays the flute or something and he's seducing kids or something like that. But you think about Disney, that's Peter Pan,
Yeah.
trapped in adolescence. Which if you think about the idea of dealing with children, then if that's your persuasion, then obviously you want the child stuck in what? In basis. That's what you're into. So that's wicked. The Marvels, everyone like the Marvels, the eight, the ones they have in the past, but you got 4, that's a heavy idol.
Yeah, a lot of them as well. Even like Wonder Woman was the same thing as well. Wonder Woman, like the Greek gods, Ares,
Yep.
Zeus, all that.
Yep.
That's been that's like a lot of the comic book stuff is just rehashing those ancient gods, those kinds of stories. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of the movies and media they give to kids, they'll have these influences in them as movies. And then that kind of becomes, and that's the thing is the modern age anyway, it's like you offload raising your child to the system, the iPad, like before it was the TV. It was like from the 60s onwards, it was like the TV was like you watch Mad Men. I remember Mad Men, it was like you kind of have when kids are young to start, you have like pretty much everyone just like, they'll be, the parents will be off talking about life stuff, whatever, having a drink, and the kids are just there in front of the TV non-stop. And it's funny, that same generation, the same people you have now, where they're old, they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they still just watch TV all day. So it's like they've really just been set there in life. And then with that, it's like, what the hell are they watching on TV? Who the hell even knows?
And then you got a generation of people that never watched TV. So when they came into the TV, when TV, was invented, that became the thing to be like, wow, I gotta watch TV. But it was just a thing that they hooked you into doing.
Yeah.
Then that way you just get your information from there.
And the thing with the TV as well is, like, that was broadcasting programming.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what it was for.
Right. And then they would basically be able to choose what you watch. But then now you have it with how it is now, with where you have phones and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like really they say, oh, you have all the information in the world in the palm of your hand. And you do. It's like, we want to look up Pan. It's like, yo, just one quick Google search, bang, you got all the info.
Yeah.
It's ancient Greek god, blah blah blah, this is that.
I just did that.
Yeah, that's us. But then it's like, how many people? It's like they'll be doing, all they're going to be doing is scrolling TikTok, scrolling whatever.
Yeah.
Brainwash. You have youth. Them. I saw like a 1-year-old with the iPad, the iPhone. The parents start crying. The parents just like talking to the other parent. Just give the iPhone to them. Man unlocked it. Open YouTube, blah blah blah, Coco Melon, whatever. Crying his brain. I was like, damn. I was like, he's doing better with that than me.
Yeah, no, they'll be doing it now. Yeah, I was around one of my friend's kids. He just gave me the TV remote. It was off. 4 years old. You work the remote, put the channel you want. Not like back in the day where you switch the TV on, you press the channel.
Yeah.
You gotta switch the TV on now. Load up YouTube. Load up the thing that you
right.
want on YouTube. Because you got a smart TV now, which is like the modern day computer, isn't it? So
All you gotta do is press this thing, right? And it goes on the TV. Straight like that.
I got a quick precept. Isaiah 47 and 12 says, stand now with thine enchantments. That information that you said that people be getting from the TV is witchcraft. It's an enchantment, right? And the multitude of thy sorceries where now is labored in from thy youth. So we're speaking about like the idols that they put and push onto the kids. But this is the same foundational idols that they've had since America was inception. Since its inception. From the foundations of, and that's why the whole thing has to be burnt down. Even the way they lay out the buildings is wicked. even the way you build a building, you put this building over here, you put that building over there, you go around, and then you do and you look down from the sky, it's like, yo, that's what's Morlock doing over here?
Right.
What's Morlock doing over here? Okay, that's why the whole thing has to be burnt down. That's one of the reasons why it has to be burnt down to the ground.
I was gonna say those broadcast institutes of witchcraft, like the CNNs and the CBSs, as well, they're starting to get exposed. And even with this Gaza thing, even though we don't give a fuck about them, they're heathens there, bro. Those people are suffering a genocide, bro.
They're our heathens.
They were made for our sake.
Bro,
them man over there are starving, yeah? You got the Israelis going on there. No, those people are not starving. What's happening is Hamas is feeding the food.
Yeah,
and they're running.
like,
Like, that baby is not starving.
Yeah,
it's
man,
just sick.
that's
It's
like,
sick.
bro, the baby's like a skeleton, bro. It's like Oxfam videos, bro.
hey, to the heat off of the Africans for
Yeah,
a while, you know what I mean?
Bro, the baby's disintegrating. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, it's not starving. It's not starving.
That's what I'm like, bro, it's like men are blowing up like journalists every other week.
Right.
So all there was it was a mass agent.
Hamas agent,
I was like, bro, you need to explain that. You need to quantify that, bro. For me to accept that, like you come up and it's oh yeah, no. And we did a strike on. I was like, but that's the thing. It's them things now.
Everyone
It's
sees
all getting exposed, man.
Even the hospital, they do that. 20 people
Yeah.
died.
Let's say, oh, Hamas was operating for the thingy. So like, if we're operating in the middle of a primary school, you're like, oh, you shouldn't have sent your kids there. So what the hell?
These are supposed to be the American, these Israeli military, them men are supposed to be American trained. They're supposed to be able to know how to go in there, minimize the casualties and do their thing and they just blow.
But that's it's witchcraft. You got more in yours?
Nah, you thank you.
Yeah, and if I may build on what you just read, man, for sure. Because, like America, right, the American people, they've been taught to believe that America's got its start on Christian values. And just was what you're reading into,
It was never set up in Christian values.
it was never that. Because when you go into the founding fathers, they were all Masons. And we know the Masons get up into doing the secret.
Or even if you look at it from the perspective of it was set up in foundations of Christianity. But what's the forefathers of the early Christians? They were Freemasons.
They were Freemasons.
Charles Taze Russell, degree Mason.
Yeah, even George Washington as well.
Yeah. So when they got their hands on their scriptures, the God they're talking about is not the same God that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're talking about a different God. But they'll give you the little thin veneer of spirituality. They'll give you the little thin veneer of being Christian. Like Trump, didn't he say at one point he's going to turn back to a Christian state or whatever?
Yeah, something along those
Something along those lines. Really, he's speaking about bringing, and that goes into one of the protocols that they had from a long time ago. They wanted everybody to be a high-level Mason, low-level Mason, sorry. They wanted everybody to be on a level of being a Mason. So you get trained up little bit, and you think about studying to being a Mason, and you get onto a level 1, 2, or 3. That's what modern day is. The books you read, the information you consume, it builds you up to be. I think they wanted everybody to be a 3rd degree Mason.
But they kind of.
Now they've accomplished that.
Yeah.
There's a thing that's like crystals, witchcraft, horoscopes, all these different things now. There was a period of time, like even among Jake, like West Coast Jake, they'll be like a bit skeptical. Now those things have become the most.
That's normal. That's normal.
That's just a social media thing. That's just a modern thing that people do now.
And even in films too, because when I was coming here, like, there was this film.
I'll read this. Nahum 3 and 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stone. So yeah, we'll make thee naked, man, fully exposed. And that's really been shown. That's the thing, it's like, there was a period of time where it was like, oh, this, the Epstein thing's big. They said, oh, it was like, you know, what was it, Pizzagate? But they were saying like, it was like, that was like, what, 2017 or something? Like, not much longer before, like less than a decade ago, they were like, oh, Pizzagate, you're crazy if you're thinking about Pizzagate. They're saying, oh, they're ordering kids, but then years later, now everyone in the general public is like, oh, they are doing that shit. Imagine those set, and it's just then the gap is you're not thinking how many other things do you thought were just a conspiracy theory now?
That's actually true. And they had a video on that on YouTube there. They were saying this in this year, we thought this was conspiracy theory. This
Yeah,
year
it
was
was
proven.
confirmed. Yeah, I'm not surprised because it's got to the point. Everything's flooding out, man, and it's all really just highlighting this place was foundation was lies, man. Surely we inherited lies. But yeah, pose up there, man. Say shalom, man.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Yeah, shalom.